Hello? Oh, we're on a break right now. We're on an ad break right now. That's okay. Hi, Jenner. Hope you don't mind. I have food because I am freaking hungry. Oh my god, bro.
Ohio_Renzi has been a pup for 21 months. 21 months subbed. There's a submissive joke in there somewhere, but I'm too tired to go looking for it.
Thank you, thank you. Rency, thank you for the 21. Oh, dude. Thanks for the resub. I appreciate you being here. I hope you, did you guys go out yesterday, all together? Because I heard that, Kisuke went out with you guys. You did? You guys have fun? I know those events can be a bit pretty crazy, so I got some food. Freaking starving, dude. Let me put this up. WWE SmackDown. All our voices are hoarse. Oh, that makes sense why Kisuke's not streaming today. That's okay. You guys do your rest, Be chill about it. What am I doing? Oh, this. Let the boy rest. Yes. I need to move this. Hold on. There we go. I'm freaking starving, dude. Dude, today was long. I had a long day. I went to do my driver's test and I passed. So yippee me. And then I donated plasma. And then after that, we went to an Asian market nearby. And I got a bunch of snacks. So I'm happy. Yeah, gummy bears, those are really good. Are they like the regular kind, like original, or are they the gold ones with like the lighter colors? Tropical flavor. Mmm, that sounds pretty good. Sorry, I'm eating right now because I'm hungry. So when I got home after all the things, I started doing all my laundry because I was supposed to do it earlier, but we were too busy. And then while the laundry was going, I was doing the dishes. So I've had a very productive day. We usually go grocery shopping on Saturdays, but we had too much going on, so we're just gonna grocery shop tomorrow. I'm hoping, I'm hoping that we don't go too crazy with the groceries because we cannot afford another like $600 grocery bill. Like that's impossible right now. I just paid all my bills for the beginning of the month, so I'm like running out of money. Do you sort your candy by flavor? Are you normal? I I sort it by color depending on what kind of candy it is. If it's like Skittles or like M&Ms, I will sort it by color, and then I start eating it by the least amount to the most amount colors. And then with like Starburst and stuff, I won't really. Sometimes I will, but it really depends on like if I'm sitting down and eating it or if I'm like at work eating it. Um, Smarties too, like the colors are so close together that they're almost like the same. So I don't really pay attention to that one, but gummy candies, well, I will do the same where I'll sort it by color and then eat each color from least to most amount. I don't know if that's an autism thing or not, but I hope you guys like the playlist I have today. It is it's a Hades album by Melanie Martinez. I've been like obsessively listening to it for like the last couple days. Also, I got some ramen in. It's a lychee flavor. I also have melon, but I'm debating if I want to save that for tomorrow or not. I do have another drink that's a lychee drink, but it's not a soda. As far as I'm aware, it's not a soda, but. And then I got some choco pie and some bag of chips, which I really wanted. What bag of chips is it? Hold on. It's kimchi flavored chips. I forgot I got the kimchi flavor. My mom also got a pack of chips. It's like I think it's called like Mexican tomato or something. So if she doesn't like it, I'll eat it. I practiced driving today. Apparently I did a really good job, so what's everybody up to today? Just chilling? Anybody do anything exciting this week? I got a car. Y'all just chilling? Yeah, I got a car on Wednesday. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Ugh. All right. I'm opening the game. I've got to set it up so that the audio is in the right channel. Yo, I'm struggling to grab my food, dude. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, looks like it's on the right audio. Audio's too loud? Okay, that's fine. Alright. We're gonna turn it off anyway, because... The song is about... I know, right? Dude. Dude, that whole album. The whole album is good. I heard that people hated it, but I don't understand why. Alright, what we're gonna do... Sorry, I'm eating. Apologies for that. A red hat is a MAGA, or like a Trump supporter. We don't tolerate people like that, yeah. Also, I like your name. It's so, like... How can I put it? My brain immediately goes to, like, anime protagonist. I'm so sorry. Right, let me get this game. It's based off your D&D character? Oh, that's sick. Okay, I think I remember why I had it a certain way. Wow. Fancy, holy shit. And your VTuber model? Hell yeah. Alright, hold on, let me... Let's do full screen for that. Okay, that does work, but... It's super weird. Alright. We're just gonna have to deal with the weird bar on the side, I think. No, wait a minute. There we go, I fixed it. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. I tried writing slash, but it kept us doing a command. Oh! I see, I see. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Alright. I fixed it. Alright, we're continuing. So, where did we leave off? We're on the boat, right? We're on the boat. You were playing a game. What game were you playing? I forgot. Alright, let me put this down real quick. I gotta grab a different part of my food real quick. Whose route are you doing? We're doing Baxter's. I already did Coves. I already did Coves, like, years ago, back before, like, I was a VTuber. So I was still doing, like, Facecam. But I'm tempted to try it again after I finish Baxter, and then I'm gonna go on to Derek. And then after Derek, we're gonna redo... oh, sorry. We're gonna redo, Coves. Cause, like, I've been wanting to do his route again. I really miss him. Dude, when I heard we were gonna get a route for Baxter, I was like, bro, people are gonna go crazy. Hold on. I have some soup. I gotta get my soup. I need to get my partner to stream this game. Dude, this game is so fun. I love it. Like, okay, I did the wedding DLC, and, like, I fucking cried. Alright. Yo, I am literally a cove holding simp, okay? Okay. Suddenly, the boat tipped forward before rocking back harshly. The ship must have gone over a bigger than usual wave. Liz held on to her hat desperately. Lee laughed at her immediate death grip. You know what? That's understandable, Starlight. That's so understandable. You never know what'll happen on the high seas. Must have been the Loch Ness Monster. Shut up, Renzi. Let's see. You chuckled too. Watch out, Liz. You wouldn't want to lose such a nice topper. You felt a burst of nausea. You started feeling really freaked out. Honestly, I would do that last one because that's totally me, but I'm gonna make a joke. You and Lee chuckled together while Liz stuck up her nose. However, your sister was now smiling and her hold had slackened. Oh no, you really don't know about Baxter, don't you? Don't worry, I won't spoil it. Yeah, don't tell me. Don't tell me anything. I had spoiled, like, a teensy bit like forever ago, but I basically like wiped it from my memory. So the only thing I know is that he lives in that new place by himself that the grumpy old couple lived in. They left it. It was like a summer condo thingy. I don't know. But they didn't. They decided not to come back, and so it was up for sale, and he got it. So, and I also know that like in the Cove Holden route, he is for like the wedding DLC specifically. He is like the wedding planner. So he's like when you're older, the Cove and the main character. Ah, okay. Okay, I get it now. That makes sense. The game continued with Liz and Lee taking turns. It was such a good time that you all decided to play a few more games. Liz turned out to be the best guesser, although that could have been because you knew her well enough to give her relevant hints. Lee had to stop herself from answering on the first clue she was given, but no one really minded. All in all, everyone was glad that Lee had suggested the game. Oh! Lee shot you a grin. Why don't we have some drinks? There's a bar on the ship. Cope tilted his head in disbelief. Lee continued blithely, I think.
Oh, yeah.
She's so cute. There's a bunch of stuff behind the counter. I bet one could make whatever they can think of. That sounds like an interesting challenge. There's a lot of different juices and stuff. I think I've even seen strawberry puree and pineapple. The carrot juice sounds intriguing.
So...
It's a juice bar? Yeah? Liz laughed and tapped Lee on the shoulder. You just said bar, Lee. I think you gave the wrong idea. Dude, her giggle's so cute. Oops, sorry for the disappointment, Cove. No alcohol is provided by the ship. That's probably required, considering the group they've got today. I'm not disappointed by that. I didn't want to get drunk on a ship. I'm a little disappointed. Lee breezed past that misunderstanding as though it hadn't even happened. I was thinking we could mix them up and get something special. Anyone interested? Cove thought about it, intrigued. Liz smirked, recognizing the potential for chaos. That sounds like a recipe for disaster. It'll be a dream, trust me. So, who wants to make drinks?
What?
It was your idea. Why don't you do it? I've mixed drinks before. If anyone else wants to try, this would be a great chance. I'm a gracious hostess. Come on, Lee, you have to do it. I agree. With all of Lee's stated practice at drink mixing, I would appreciate seeing it demonstrated. Alright, I'll take care of everything. She pushed up her non-existent sleeves. It's gonna be super tasty. You won't have tried anything like it before. Now I'm scared. I can't wait. What are you gonna make? You watch everything play out. Now I'm scared. I did mean recipe for disaster, literally. Oh, come on. It'll be good. You'll see. Anyways, get comfortable, everyone. I'll be back. She skipped out of sight. Liz promptly took a seat on one of the lounge chairs and put her feet up. Let's see what happens. Baxter pulled out his phone. He tapped away at it quietly. Your lounge chair was close enough that you could make out a game of Sudoku. Yes, bro. That's a good time waster right there. Cope chatted in hushed whispers with you, trying to guess what juices Lee might come back with. He kept mentioning the carrot juice, and you wondered if he wanted some or if he was scared of it. Liz butted in a few times, gleefully detailing absurd-sounding drinks. You had no idea what Lee was actually making, but you firmly doubted it'd be sparkling prune and artichoke juice. Hold on. Sorry, I'm drinking my drink right now. Oh, dang it. I got rum in it and the marble got stuck. After a few minutes, you hear the voice of the refreshment provider herself. Hey, everybody come here. The others shrugged, and he followed them to the other side of the deck. Lee stood behind the counter like a peppy bartender. In a perfect line, she had laid out a row of glasses filled with a dark, reddish-purple liquid. When you got closer and sat down on a bar stool, you realized it was somewhat cloudy. You picked up a cup and swirled it around the glass. Light barely shone through its thick, murky depths. Time to face the music. It's my treat for the tasting. Liz raised her glass. She put it to her lips and took a small sip. Not bad. Cove boldly downed a large swig and agreed with a pleased nod. Yeah.
Bravo.
It's refreshing. He smacked his lips together before he took another measured mouthful. Are there berries in here? Ooh, good guess. What is it? It's mostly grape and fresh strawberry mix with a few splashes of cranberry. Liz raised her eyebrows and took a slow sip, trying to taste the flavors. Grape, cranberry, strawberry? I don't think I would have guessed that. Well, I told you it'd be like you've never had before. I'm gonna take a sip, because that actually does not sound bad. It sounds really good, actually. I really like cranberry grape, but I've never tried it with like a strawberry in it. So it sounds really good. You raised the chilled glass to your lips and took a taste. The rich, thick drink lingered on your tongue. You could taste sweetness and a slight sourness that had to have come from the cranberry juice. It's a little strong. That's pretty good. Lee beamed at your reaction and took a triumphant gulp of her own juice. Contently, you all stood close together, some still holding their juice cups. Lee's eyes scanned the group and she giggled.
Right?
This is so much nicer than having to rely on regular phone calls to catch up, right? Before anyone could respond, Lee's eyes widened. The corner of your mouth pulled into an amused smile. Not that I don't enjoy our chats from afar, it's just more fun to actually be here together.
That's fine.
We understand, and yes, this is a fantastic little party. Happy graduation. Aw, it's so cute. I forgot that they graduated. That was followed by more cheers in celebration of your high school careers coming to an end. Lee even lifted her glass to toast to it. When it settled down, your older sister had one more comment to add. And no one even had to fight over who gets to use the home phone. Lee threw her head back in thunderous laughter. Smile wide on your face. I remember that all the times Elizabeth here was trying to push me into being less gabby. She needed me to just stop so she could call her other friends instead. Hey, many teens have a too cool for family phase.
You're welcome.
Yeah, luckily it's all a-okay. I forgive Liz for being a teenager. That got a hearty laugh out of Liz. You caught a quiet snicker out of Cove too.
Well,
Though, all that aside, we shouldn't leave Baxter out of the loop either. Everyone followed her lead and turned towards the guest for the summer. His expression softened as he shrugged one shoulder.
I get it.
While it's true I wasn't here for these stories, I do enjoy hearing about them. It's nice to only listen sometimes. Cool. Really mature. Thank you. His gaze traveled from Lee to Liz and then over to you. He sighed. My cousins aren't nearly as close in age as you are. And as an only child, I'm curious what that kind of relationship is like. I'm with you there. Only child solidarity. Lee nodded firmly to Baxter and then shot Cove a serious look. He crossed his arms. Ugh, alright. Only child solidarity. A genuine smile lit up Baxter's face. Lee clapped her hands together, pleased at the united front created. Sharing the same wavelength, you and Liz turned your faces to give one another a look. Not breaking eye contact, she reached over and put a hand on top of your head.
thanks.
That's wonderful for you three. I'll keep Brandon, thanks. Your siblings' stare shattered into laughter. The others joined in as well. The hours were spent chatting away, sharing stories and favorite memories as the boat drifted out to sea. As time slipped by, the sun hanging low in the sky signaled that it was time to set sail back to the harbor. The more boisterous atmosphere from earlier had settled into a blanket of comfortable relaxation. Liz and Lee were absorbed in conversation, lounging around on the deck couch. Baxter sat across from them, nodding along, and every now and then you could hear laughter coming from the three of them. There were always smiles. Taking a deep breath of sea air, you sighed contentedly. Cove stood by your side in the center of the deck. When you were ready, you looked back to the deck and the faces of everyone you spent the afternoon with. You never wanted to forget that view. Then, looking out at the wide open ocean, you committed every bit of the moment to memory. You quietly thought to yourself, today had certainly been an adventure. Yippee! Okay, I need to look up a thing. Let's see, Our Life. Beginnings. And always Baxter routes. Okay. I had that open. I think it's this one. Where was I at? Let's see. I'm reading, hold on. I need to blow my nose, goddammit. Let's see. I'm reading a subreddit post. What step am I on? There's really nothing else here for me to do, so I can go and then summer ended. Moths bounced against your window, attracted by the light of your room, a siren call in the slowly darkening sky. Just as the day was coming to an end, so too would summer. Liz would be moving back into the dorms before long. Luckily, Lee had been able to come stay for a short trip before her own journey began. She'd officially been accepted to her first choice college a few weeks ago. This was her last chance to see you all in person for... Hold on. You flipped through the plans for the next few months, realizing that you didn't even know when you'd next have the opportunity for everyone to be in the same place again. It was hard to think that you'd likely be seeing even less of your cousin going forward, but you were delighted that she was pursuing her dreams. While you were still with each other, your family was going to have dinner together. As ever, the Holdens were tagging along too. Let's do the Chinese restaurant, actually. I did the tropical place when I did the Cove route. It was somewhere your family had always enjoyed going ever since you and Liz were tiny. That long-lasting connection made it a fitting location for a final meal out before Liz and Lee set off again. Technically, you were getting ready to go out, though your mind was only half on the task. It was a pleasantly warm evening, the kind that epitomized the vacation feeling, and you were in no mood to spoil it by rushing around. It was strange to think that summer was coming to an end, yet you wouldn't be returning to school. That pattern had been in place for as long as you could remember, and had come to feel like a natural rhythm, as inescapable as the coming of the tide. This was the first time that you were going to be able to set your own tune. Whatever came next was entirely up to you. Queasy with stress, nervous but ready. You couldn't wait to start your new life. Ooh, these two are really good. I wish I could pick both of them. I'm gonna go nervous but ready. Breaking from the structure of the old routine was scary. You could admit that, yet you didn't want to be a child forever. You were going to hold your head high and face the future. Mom called up from downstairs, tearing you from your thoughts as she told you it was time to head off. You raced to downstairs, looking forward to the evening. Everyone piled into the car. While it was marketed as being suitable to hold 5 people, in practice it made it for a very tight fit. Your moms sitting in the front were fine. You, Liz, and Lee were squished into the back. Lee in the middle, wedged between you and your sister. Nice and simple. But Mom was an excellent timekeeper. Also, you forget that you can do this. Don't forget you can do that. Thanks to her efforts, you pulled up near the restaurant on time. The process of getting out of the car was slightly easier than squeezing into it, with much less coordination required to release seatbelts than to secure them. You gave Lee a hand as she clambered out from the middle seat, then headed into the building as a group. A waiter greeted you as you entered. Ma let him know how many of you were there would be in total, and he went to arrange a table that met your needs. He returned promptly to guide you to your seats. You perched comfortably in your chair, your head held aloft as it buoyed by today's good fortune. Your family settled down around you, all cheerful and looking forward to the event ahead. Your drinks order had just been taken when the Holdens came through the door. They were pointed in your direction, though with Mom waving an arm in the air, it was hardly necessary. Cove and Mr. Holden came to join you at the table. With greetings were being exchanged, Cove took a seat opposite to you. It had been left empty by unspoken acknowledgement that you and Cove would be wanting to sit together. Mr. Holden sat beside him. Can't read. It's great to see you. Glad you could make it. Hello, everyone. You wouldn't believe how hungry I am.
I see.
You came to the right place then. There was some laughter, though Liz groaned playfully, shaking her head at Mom's sense of humor. Growing up, she'd have complained, and Mom would have responded by making another comment. I need to eat some of my soup. My tummy's rumbling. Yummy, tasty soup. Okay. Alright, see you later, Renzi. Liz had mellowed over the years, but she still made a show of despairing at Mom's jokes. Her reaction to them had become a joke in its own right. Menus were soon passed around, and a temporary hush fell over the table as everyone read. It didn't last long, punctured by comments about what people had eaten here before and light chatter about what people were considering tonight. Once the waiter had disappeared with your orders, Cliff piped up.
Okay.
So I've got some good news. Kira's making a trip out here tomorrow. Cove nodded, turning from his father to the rest of the table. Yeah, we talked about it and figured this was a good time for everyone.
Very nice.
That's great. Everyone reacted positively to the news, though Ma looked wistful.
That's a shame.
If only we'd known. Here we are having a big meal without her. If we'd waited one day, she could have joined us. Mom patted Ma on the back, gently nudging her from the realm of possibilities and what-ifs, back to the event that was going so well. Chin up. Lee and Liz will still be here tomorrow. We'll just have to throw another get-together and keep the fun train chugging along. Ma smiled warmly, taking Mom's hand in hers. That's true. There's plenty to celebrate right now. There'll be more good news and good times on the horizon.
Right.
And speaking of, that's not all we've got either. Mr. Holden's eyes were alight as he sat up straight in his chair, face angled towards the sun. He barely let a beat go by before nudging Cove with his elbow, pushing him to follow up on the announcement. He was the very picture of a proud papa. Cove shied from the limelight, ducking his head down and staring at his lap as he spoke.
Well,
It's just, I've switched over to working full-time instead of only part-time. Plus, I've been looking at apartments. There's a few I can choose from. He flicked his gaze up at everyone around the table, a smile creeping over his face. I'll be pretty busy going forward. Apartments. He was moving. Cove was going to move out of his dad's house. After 10 years, he wasn't going to be your neighbor anymore. Mr. Holden gripped one of Cove's shoulders and gave it a loving shake. His excitement couldn't be contained. Incredible. Cove's actually gonna make it to adulthood. It's a miracle. What the fuck, dude? Why gotta talk about your son like that? Mr. Holden leaned back in his chair, staring up at the ceiling in mock wonder.
I'm so glad.
I wasn't convinced I'd be able to rear a kid all the way to this point, but thankfully I lucked out and got the best boy a dad could have asked for. Aw, he's so cute. Okay. Look. Hold on, I gotta sip my drink. Okay. What is this word? Cove blinkered his vision? You mean blinked? What is this? With his hands on the side of his face, temporarily blocking his father from sight. Despite his genuine bashfulness, which left him unable to meet anyone's eyes after all the attention thrust his way, he was happy.
Thanks.
I was really lucky too. You're a good dad.
Aw.
It's so cute. Mr. Holden threw an arm around Cove's neck, pulling him into as close of a hug as the seating allowed. He rubbed his cheek on the top of his son's head, while Cove chuckled, accepting the affection with good humor. He looked around at the faces of the company here. You'd been on this journey with everyone here for years, seen them falter and grow, and they had watched you go from the same to the same. I can't read, Jesus Christ. Now you were striking out on a new path. Cove was leaving his family home. Liz was heading back to college while Lee was starting at hers. You were all heading in different directions, to different destinations. Some near and some far, but it wouldn't be long until you were all going your own way. Pride, bittersweet, the thought troubled you. What would I feel if I was honest? Probably the pride, maybe? Dang, these are two different moods. I'm gonna say bittersweet, though. You turn your head to the side, wistful, not wanting to spoil the evening with your troubles. You are glad that everyone was succeeding, but the idea of splitting up gave you a twinge of regret. These people had been key pillars in your life. Days ahead without them, no matter how bright and shiny, felt a little empty, like a theme park after closing time. But you focused your mind on the sweet side. Duh. That's the best way to go. But new adventures were still ahead, and you could encourage that optimism. Toph brought some attention to himself with the clearing of his throat and a small interjection. I'm gonna stretch my legs while we're waiting for the food and everything.
Sure.
Sure thing, bud. With a tiny smile, he nodded at his dad, but the lightness to his expression faded when he moved to face you. I guess, maybe? He was attempting to be subtle, but there was very obviously something on his mind, something he wanted to talk to you about alone. Ugh. You watched him with concern as you rose from your seat. Yeah, I'll go. Take care. With those parting words, the two of you walked around the place. He was trying to get as far away from everyone else as possible without actually exiting the building. What did you need to say? He hadn't admitted that was what this was about, but he didn't need to. Cope started pulling on the hem of his shirt. He turned his head back to face you, but it was an awkward moment. Movement. I think you said movement. I wanted to talk to you one-on-one about all this. You know, my work, moving. I mean, it was coming before, but now it's pretty much here. Yeah, it's exciting. Cope stopped picking at his shirt, and he seemed to respond well to that response. He was relieved you weren't upset about it. I'm glad you think so. But then he looked down, and his brows furrowed. You saw his hand shift away from his clothes, to instead of rub at his arm. Are you looking forward to it? I am.
I mean...
Well, I'm trying to be. He ducked his head further, and you saw his face start to redden. But it's scary. I don't want things to end. Let's see. What the fuck is this comment, dude? You don't need to worry. You're gonna do great things. So, you're saying you're gonna dress up as the future of Halloween, bruh. I could make a funny comment. But what is going to cheer him up? I'm probably gonna say this one. It may be scary now, but it'll be worth it. I sure hope so. Cope then turned his head away and wrapped his arms around himself. He felt the sudden chill that definitely wasn't caused by the air conditioner. What the fuck? I was thinking, are we really gonna stay friends? His words came out hesitantly. He didn't want to ask this, he didn't want to know.
That's...
I'm not just talking about today, but forever, always. Even if things change later, right now, do you feel we can make it? Or do you think we can't last? That one day we'll have to move on? I'm gonna be calm about this. He understood his concern. It was definitely hard to imagine what would happen. However, you didn't let yourself get upset. I want it to be forever. I'll make sure we always are. I don't know, but it's gonna be alright. Ooh, these are really good ones. Let's see. What is a good answer for this? I feel like saying, I'll make sure we always are, so I'll pick that. You're going to keep things up. There was no way you were going to let this fall down the wayside. Cope laughed with a delicate smile on his face. Okay, you win. I wanted to prepare myself for the horrifying unknown, but you're kind of giving me no choice but to be optimistic here. His eyes sparkled with mischief. Strong armor. Oh no, I can't believe you're being forced to have hope about life. I'm gonna say that, that's so... His lips twitched at your sarcasm.
Right?
I know, how am I gonna get past this? He gave a small smile and then stopped joking around. Thanks for listening to me, it helped. He felt pleased that his anxiety had eased after talking about it. Or after talking it out. Wanna go back to the table? I bet everyone's wondering what we've been up to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, forgot what we were doing here. That'd probably be good. With matching smiles, you both reclaimed your seats at the table. Both of you felt lighter, and it showed. You seem happy. What was that? Yeah, it looked like you were having quite the conversation over there. It's neighbor stuff, sorry. I used to be your neighbor. He waved off their questions and he didn't offer any explanation. They still seemed curious, but caught that Cove wanted it to stay between the two of you and let it drop. Things relaxed and you took a sip of your drink. Lee idly tapped the table and got your attention. I'm so excited to try this place. I haven't been here in a long time. I hope it's as good as I remember. All the restaurants in the area are pretty top-notch in my humble opinion. We'll see. It was a challenge issued. Liz carried herself like some sort of professional food critic and Mom snorted. Tough crowd. Geez, Liz. Ma giggled and chimed in as well, much to Liz's embarrassment. That's right, Liz. Jeez. Or Lizzie. Jesus. Oh, jeez, Louise. You shook your head at all the silliness. I'm doing that. Why was your family like this? Jeez. Everyone burst out laughing, besides Liz, of course. She smirked. No one could ever accuse your family of being no fun. Night fell soon after everyone finished their meals, and before you knew it, you were standing in the parking lot, saying your goodbyes and packing up the cars to go home. After the last of the chores were done, your family spent some more time together. The rest of the night felt like it was going by in a blink of an eye, and somehow the time came to retire to your room to sleep. You pulled your covers up under your chin and settled down for the night, getting warm and cozy. As your head sank into your pillow and you closed your eyes, your mind drifted back to everything that had happened that day. You could see it all now, behind your eyelids, as though you were experiencing it all over again. And the image of Cove popped into your head. You smiled softly to yourself. I'm gonna say this because I don't want to do anything extra. It wasn't long before your eyes were growing heavy and you drifted off into a peaceful sleep. The next morning you woke up slowly from a comfortable dream, finding yourself safe and warm and tucked up in bed. With a small stretch, you opened your eyes to the sun shining in through the window. After waking up a little more and getting ready, you headed downstairs to find your family all gathered around the kitchen area. Good morning. You greeted them all, receiving a chorus of good mornings back in return. You nodded in acknowledgement as you headed into the kitchen to find some breakfast. A knock at the front door caught your attention and curiosity pulled you to follow several steps behind Mom as she went to answer it. Yippee! Kira! Hope was waiting there with both of his parents. Morning.
Hello.
Hi there. Surprised at that sight, Mom paused a moment and then she pulled Kira into a big hug. Meanwhile, you approached the doorway and flashed a small smile at Cove. Kira, it's been too long. I know, time's been flying. Kira's gaze slid over to you. She waved.
Hey, yeah.
She's so cute. Hi, welcome back. I'm gonna wave. Kira chuckled at your small wave. I'm glad to be back. Enough of standing around out there. Come on in. Mom moved aside to usher the group in and guided them to the living room. Before anyone could get settled in, Mom spoke up. You're all welcome to stay for breakfast.
Of course.
Yes, we'd be thrilled to host you. There were eager nods from Mr. Holden and Kira, but Cove looked around the room filled with familiar faces before speaking up. Maybe instead of staying here, why don't we go to the beach? A scenic picnic, eh? Mr. Holden crossed his arms and contemplated the idea happily. Excited, Kira clapped her hands together.
Yeah.
Oh, we could really make a day out of it. Might as well enjoy the ocean while we can. That sounds lovely, Cove. Everyone else put in their own agreement with Cove's suggestion. Before long, both families dispersed, getting everything ready. Dude, I'm getting sleepy reading this. Jesus Christ. Need some of my soup. Man, I'm trying to remember when I played this last. Okay. Everyone else put in their own agreement with Cove's suggestion, blah blah blah. Okay. Sandwiches had to be made. Water, sunscreen, towels, and more needed to be gathered and packed. An hour later, both your family and Cobes were walking down the old path to the beach. The morning was already turning into a bright and beautiful day. You honestly couldn't ask for better weather for a beach trip. The moment you laid your eyes on the full view of the ocean, you stopped and stood there mesmerized. It didn't matter that you grew up there. The sight always filled you with wonder. Okay.
So?
I was thinking about calling Terry and Miranda, see if they can come too. Everyone else is pretty much already here, so would your family mind? That'd be cool, I'll ask them. You're already so excited at the prospect of seeing your friends today that you immediately darted away in the direction of your mom's went. Behind you, you could hear the familiar sound of Cove laughing. I have a question. Would it be alright if Terry and Miranda came by? I don't see why not. Ma looked to Mom to see what she thought, and she nodded in agreement. Mom then shot a glance over to Mr. Holden and Kira, knowing that they had likely heard everything.
You alright with that?
What do you two think? The more the merrier.
Okay.
Of course, they're welcome with me. Thanks. Delighted, you nodded and turned on your heels. Cove was still several feet away talking to Lee and Liz, likely about the same topic. With a beaming smile, you gave him a thumbs up, and the two of them must have also approved, as Cove quickly got his phone out and started making the calls. At that, you turned your attention to helping with the picnic setup. Unexpectedly, your phone started ringing. You dug it out, curious to see the caller ID, feeling your heart jump with excitement. You answered the video call request. It was Derek, no! Hey, it's been a while. Yo, what the fuck? Yo, what the fuck? Yo, what the fuck? Who is this man? Who is this man? Excuse me. Who is this? That's not that dorky kid from before. What the fuck happened? Seriously, but what's up? This is so crazy. Why do you look like that? Okay. The voice that came through was much deeper than it had been when you first met, but it still had the exact same amount of enthusiasm of a kid. Have you been enjoying these crazy summer days? It's been amazing. That's awesome. You'll have to catch me up on that. But what about you? How's your summer been? You were beyond curious to know what Derek had been up to since the last time you spoke. He chuckled, noticing your invested tone. Honestly, I've just been slammed with stuff lately. College applications and scholarship inquiries. What else is new? Oh, these are good answers. I wish you nothing but good luck. Your only real struggle will be choosing which place to go, though I'll be desperate to have you. I'm gonna say that. Totally. His chuckle turned into a sigh. You could hear a small smile when he spoke. I really hope so anyway. That would be amazing. What about your family? Are your brothers being good? My little brothers are little punks. But I guess they're doing alright. You both laughed at that. Mom and Dad are fine. That's great. My moms are too. Turning your attention back to your surroundings, you smiled warmly at your family buzzing around. Towels were laid out and chairs and umbrellas were being set up. Actually... I'm out with my moms right now. Liz and Lee are here visiting too. Oh, that's fun. But if that's the deal, I'll let you get back to it. Are you sure? I don't mind. Uh-huh, I'm sure. I'm not about to lose your number. Okay, bye. Dude, that's a silly conversation. Let me have some ice. I wonder if the salt in this is good for me. Okay. Hanging up the conversation left you energized and in good spirits. It was exactly what you needed to make this day even better. You hurried over to your mom's and helped put the rest of the food out. In moments you noticed Cove at your side. So what did they say? They're gonna come. Cool, thanks for calling them.
No problem.
I'm glad I thought of it. They'll meet us here later today. It shouldn't be too long. I can't wait. While on the topic of inviting people to join, you realized there was someone else you could call as well. You had gotten Baxter's number earlier that summer. Ooh, I'm gonna message him to come down to the beach. Everyone else is gonna be there. You didn't want him to be left out. You sent him a text and hope he'd show. After that, you made sure to mention what you'd done. No one seemed to mind. Once the setup was done, everyone got comfortable and dug into the food. You couldn't remember the last time breakfast tasted this good, but you attributed it to the gorgeous ocean view and soothing sea breeze. Listen, I'm gonna say this right now. The beach is beautiful. Beach is great. Beach is fine. But if I get sand in my food, I'm gonna be pissed. I can literally feel the grains of sand in my mouth when I think about it. I hate sand, bro. Sand sucks. Just gets everywhere. Alright. Morning swiftly gave way to afternoon, and a very recognizable face came walking down to the shore. It was Baxter. He came. He pleasantly approached with a wave.
Hello, folks.
I appreciate the invite to the party. Of course, you're welcome with us. We've brought plenty of towels and food and sunscreen. Yeah, you're one of the neighbors. Kick back and relax with us.
Thank you.
Baxter's gaze moved over to you and Cove. He smiled. Good to see you. You waved from where you were leisurely sat, and Cove nodded. I'm glad you decided to come. So am I. We meet again. Yes, lucky for me. A few giggles escaped Lee as she watched Baxter. It was then that Baxter noticed a face he didn't immediately recognize from around the neighborhood. He turned up his charm even more for the introduction. Excuse me, I'm Baxter Ward. I'm sorry we haven't met before. Well, I'm not typically from around this area, just visiting. I'm Cove's mom. Oh, I'll remember that. It's very nice to meet you. After that, Baxter spent some time getting better acquainted with everyone. Terry and Miranda arrived excitedly. Oh, I need to blow my nose. Hold on. Ads are about to start in 40 seconds. If you don't want to see ads, go ahead and subscribe for about, what, like $6, I think? Or if you have a Twitch Prime, you can also use that. But if you have Turbo, you don't have to worry about any of that. Otherwise, you'll have to see it through 3 minutes of ads. And I'm sorry. But that's what I gotta do. You took a moment to introduce the three, and conversation shifted to what you all would do next.
In that case,
We could do a few rounds of volleyball. There's plenty of us now.
is that alright?
Could I play? Of course. Miranda brightened. Delighted with this plan, Ma looked around to see if there were any other takers. I don't feel like playing. I'd have to change, but it'd be fun to watch. I could be the ref. My eyes won't miss a thing. Volleyball's a good idea, but there should probably be something happening for those who aren't a fan. Oh, I have some crafting supplies we could use to make jewelry. We could even use stuff we find around the beach to accentuate them.
Really?
What, really? I want to make a necklace.
That'd be great.
I'd be interested in trying my hand at that too.
Absolutely.
Impromptu crafting is my kind of party. I'd like to join too, please. Let's do the jewelry, because I'm not like a sports kind of person. My soup! It's gonna get cold if I don't eat it. Notifications. Okay. I had to double check something on Discord because I got notifications on there. Okay. Already you were imagining various designs you can make, depending on what Lee let you use. Your cousin shot you a thumbs up, clearly happy with your decision. I guess I'll try making a necklace too. Kira got up from the towel she was sitting on. She brushed some sand off her legs and then stretched her arms over her head.
Can do.
I'm up for a few rounds. Well, since there's still a free spot, I'll throw my hat in the ring. The things I do for family.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. I'd love that. Liz got up from where she was sitting, and you could tell by her expression that she was already determined to win. You laughed to yourself, curious now how that game would turn out. Now that plans were settled, the group temporarily split into two. Okay, let me pop back to the house to get my supplies. Anything we can do while you're gone? Yes, you can start clearing out the towels for us to work at. If you want, look around for good stuff to use.
I'm on it.
Roger that. While Lee ran back to the house, the group did just as she suggested. By the time she returned, everyone had their craft area ready to work at. Lee sat down on one of the towels and looked up at everyone eagerly. He held up two necklace options. I hope you've all been thinking about what you want to make. I have for everyone a choice of either a chain or a threaded rope. How do I pick? All I know is that I want to put some sea glass chunks on it.
Charming.
That's a charming idea. His gaze went back and forth between Lee's two necklace-based options. You could tell he was thinking quite hard about it. I can't decide anything for mine. No rush, I'll leave the strands here and you can decorate it however you want later. I suppose I'll use whatever I spot around the beach first. Fate can decide. I think I'll keep it classic and only worry about finding a decent shell.
Yeah.
I'm planning on doing shells too. Let me see. Hold on. Fate can decide, huh? Oh, that's a good idea. I like sea glass a lot. Great minds think the same. Thinking the same, we can look together. Happy with that suggestion, you nodded. Cove crossed his arms and chewed at the inside of his cheek. You weren't the only one that noticed. What's wrong, Cove? I'm not sure what to use. I mean, ideally I'd want a shark tooth, but what are the chances I would even find one? Mom smiled. You both looked at him sympathetically. Sorry, the rare downside of not having a shark-filled coast. That would make for a really nice necklace, though.
I know.
I know. At Cove's pouting, Mom gave him a little bump on the shoulder with her fist. Well, don't lose hope. You never know, you might end up really lucky. Cove laughed. It cheered him up even though he wasn't really convinced. After that, the little crafting club busily went to work on their pieces. Whatever they decided on using was attached in loops that were then slid onto their necklace base. Terry was immensely proud of herself when she was done. Hers was simple but gorgeous because of the striking piece of sea glass she painstakingly searched for and found. Baxter excitedly showed his finished piece off to everyone. He stayed true to his word and used various materials he found along the beach. The necklace looked like it had good weight from the clutter. He always had an eclectic style, it seemed. Cove ended up using driftwood of varying lengths to design his necklace. Despite not finding any shark teeth, he still looked pretty pleased. Mom decided on a medium-sized purple ringed top shell as a centerpiece for hers, and Lee went with a few small Simnia shells. They both put their necklaces on soon after finishing them. After combing through the beach several times, you found just what you were looking for. It took a bit, but you managed to make a necklace you were satisfied with. It mostly had sea glass. Your group of crafters would also cheer for the volleyball players whenever shouts could be heard coming out of the court. On top of that, you would all hold up each newly made piece in the air, and the players would take a breather to applaud the creation. You really enjoyed searching the beach, trading supplies, and watching everyone make their necklaces. The crafting club was definitely a success, and you weren't the only one that had a blast. The afternoon continued to drift by, but the fun was still going strong. Occasionally, someone would head back to the houses to use the bathroom, rest away from the sun a while, or retrieve something that they needed, but they always came back. The beach was never empty, and there was always a new conversation to take part in or another game to join. There was only one thing that could bring this beach day to an end, and that was for the day itself to end. Before anyone realized it, the sun began to set over the sea. As that happened, you were taking a break, sitting on a towel with your legs stretched out past it and your feet buried in the warm sand. Now that's something I never do. Shortly you looked up to see your moms approaching. They stopped in front of you and you smiled. Hey there, kiddo.
How are you?
I'm doing really good. How about you? We're wonderful. They both sat down, squishing you between them. Ma leaned her head against yours, and Mom started rubbing your back soothingly. Nothing more was said at first, but Ma sighed contentedly. Mom looked at you wistfully. We're both really proud of you.
True.
You grew up to be more than we could ever have hoped. Than we ever could have hoped. It's only thanks to you two. Ma wrapped an arm around your middle and squeezed you tightly in a side hug. Mom continued lightly scratching your back. Now, if that was like really happening, like I was having my like back rubbed or back scratched or whatever, I'd be out like a light. I'd pass the fuck out. That means a lot, but I still think you're selling yourself short. You've always been a lovely person, and I'm so thrilled to know you. Your voice faltered, and you honestly couldn't imagine your life any other way. Ma lightly brushed some of your hair back and left a small kiss there. I'm so happy I got to have both of you as my moms. After that, all three of you were sitting there, getting all sentimental. I don't know how we got so lucky with you and Liz. Ma reached out in front of you for Mom's hand. She gave it to her, and Ma squeezed it.
Of course.
Brandon has a point. We must have done something right. You stayed there quietly and contently, watching the sunset with your parents for a while. Until Mr. Holden called out to you. He was still walking in your direction. We were talking. I think we're going to take a walk down to the shore. Maybe you want to come? Automatically, you looked to your moms for what they were thinking. Mom glanced from you to Ma and smiled. That sounds good to me.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be very nice. My legs need some stretching. Let's go. Thrilled, Mr. Holden threw out a thumbs up and began heading back to the way he came in a light jog. Hey, don't leave us in the dust. The Cliff kept going forward but flipped around, walking backwards across the sand so he could face you again.
No worries.
Don't worry, we won't leave without you. Alright, catch up. Ready to go? Uh-huh. Both of your moms held a hand out to you. Chuckling, you gave them each one, and you all strolled back to the rest of the group. When Liz was in reach, Ma used her free hand to pull her into it too. Liz shook her head, but her mouth quirked into a smirk, and she didn't resist. Together as a family, you followed behind the others hand in hand. Your feet squished into the wet sand as the waves rolled over them. And you didn't have a single care in the world as more and more stars began to dot the sky. And it's nighttime now. Holy shit. My soup. I'm almost done with my soup. Hold on. Okay. Alrighty. Once the sun had been out of sight, it was finally time to pack up. The closing of the day and the ever-approaching end of summer seemed to intertwine. It caused a quiet, reflective mood to blanket over the group. On the beach, Terry and Miranda took turns compressing Cove and Hug before moving on to do the same to you. You chuckled, still overjoyed that you got to see them today. I'm sorry we have to go already. My parents are here. That's okay. But still, I wish we could help clear this all up. Don't worry about it, just thanks for coming out today. It was great having everyone here.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I'm super glad we came. Hopefully we can do it again sometime. Nodding, you turned your attention to Terry. She wore a large grin on her face and held a hand out for a low five. You obliged.
See you later.
Take care of yourself, buddies. After that, they walked away, waving to you and Cove as they went down the shore. Cove waved quietly back with a small smile on his face. I'm gonna wave. It was a big wave. You hoped Miranda was right and there would be another day like this soon. Taking you by surprise, Terry jumped and twisted around. She kept up with Miranda by walking backwards. She kept the move for your farewell light by shooting finger guns at you and Cove. Miranda bumped her with a hip. It left everyone with a laugh just before they disappeared down the bend. Brandon?
Come on.
Hey, Cove. Did you come here? While your parents were motioning for you, the two of you went to them. Tons of things ended up at the beach over the course of the day, so there was still so much to pack up, and the parents needed help. With a nod, you got to it, stuffing various things into bags and bundling them up in towels. I cannot read. Why am I struggling to keep my eyes open? But once things were ready to go, everyone filled their arms with as much as they could carry. Absolutely no one wanted this to be a back and forth kind of task. The walk back home ended up being mostly quiet. Each person seemed to be feeling the effects of the day. A cool breeze carried you across the sand and onto the road. There was a sigh of relief from what felt like the group as a whole when they arrived back to the neighborhood. Baxter carefully placed what he had been carrying on the ground. Thank you so much for helping with that.
Thanks.
No, thank you for allowing me to join today. You all shared with me. Helping to carry it back is the least I can do. Ma nodded, and the others started collecting their things from his pile. Baxter, meanwhile, stepped over to you and Cove. It really was a pleasure getting to know you both this summer. His head tilted towards you, and he smiled warmly. Baxter offered you his hand. I feel like I'm gonna side hug him. It took a moment, but after shuffling what you were carrying, you were able to free one of your hands enough to pull Baxter into a quick hug. He genuinely laughed and looked at you fondly when you let go. I really enjoyed meeting you. Ooh. I think we did end up as good friends. Alright, let me check the internets. You get 100% crashed out at this part? Oh boy. Alright, let me see something real quick. My character is mean? What the fuck? Should I say good friends or meeting? I think I'm gonna say I really enjoyed meeting you.
Glad to hear it.
I enjoyed this vacation immensely thanks to you. Baxter turned to shake Cove's hand this time. He was a little incredulous for a moment, but then Cove eventually shifted what he was carrying and took Baxter's hand. It wasn't long, but it was a solid handshake. Baxter was clearly pleased. I wish we had more time together, but it was still a nice ride while it lasted. Would happily do it all over again. Bye, Baxter. Yeah, bye. Baxter nodded and walked a few steps toward his condo. He then stopped and waved.
Goodbye.
Baxter sauntered away completely and disappeared into the condo to return to his own things, his time with you and your family and friends ending. He paused for a moment, staring at where he went. But afterwards he looked back at the rest of the group. Lee and Liz were just going inside your house. You couldn't spot Kira or Mr. Holden anywhere, but the door to their house was wide open. Mom approached you with an amused look on your face. Seems like you were holding up some Holden things. What the fuck? Surprised you glanced down to a quick inventory of what you were holding. Mom was right, some of it belonged to the neighbors. Would you mind dropping it off now? Can do, it's not a problem. Thank you very much. Cove took a few steps towards his house and stopped waiting for you. Good night, Cove. I'll see you inside. Good night. Okay. You caught up to Cove, and together you went over to his house. Walking in the front door, you saw Kira and Mr. Holden busily unpacking already. Holy shit. I could not stop yawning. Things were scattered on counters, and they were moving around each other, putting the items away. They both lifted their heads when Cove closed the front door. It's nice seeing you again already. Her teasing tone brought a light smile to your face. You hefted the stuff in your arms a little closer. I ended up with things of yours from the beach.
Oh.
Well, thanks for getting that to us. You can put it over on that coffee table. Dude, the music is making me sleepy. So sleepy. Mr. Holden pointed at the surface he was referring to, and you immediately left what didn't belong to your family there. Cove put his own things down on the floor just at his feet, wading through everything strewn about to reach his parents. Putting your family stuff on the ground for a moment, you dusted your hands off and straightened up. You needed a second of rest and a minute to resituate it all. You went over to where the others were too. I can't focus, Jesus. Kira opened her arms wide, wanting to hug you. Oh shit. What would I pick? Because I would just accept, because she's really nice. Why do I have another Discord notification? God damn it. Okay, that's not important. I'm gonna do accept. Happily, you went to her. She held on tightly. Over the years, you were able to form a good rapport with her, and you were grateful for that. You could feel in her hug how much Kira had grown to care about you. It brought an affectionate smile to your face. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It was a blast. It's no problem. I had fun too. Kira eventually released you, but patted the tops of your shoulders as a final gesture.
Thank you.
Every time I've gotten to come by, it's been an absolute joy. Things really couldn't have worked out better. Mr. Holden took a step closer to you. Kira moved aside to let him say goodbye too. He grinned. Thanks for always being such a friendly neighbor. And not just right now, but for as long as I've known you. I didn't always make it easy, but you and your family are good people. I really, truly appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Okay. Okay. Why am I so sleepy, dude? Okay, I only have a little bit of soda left. That, Mr. Holden reached out and gave you a soft pat on the top of your head. You're good people too. He smiled softly. Mr. Holden looked away for a moment and sniffled. When he met your gaze once more, his mouth pulled into a wide, happy grin. That, it means a lot to me. Mr. Holden was staring at you, but his gaze seemed far away. Maybe he was looking back at who he used to be, the 8-year-old he had asked to be his son's new friend.
See you.
He smiled softly. Then Cove took a step forward. He gestured to his pile of things he had carried into the house.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about all that. I'll put stuff away in a few minutes. Right, I need to go do the same with my family. I figured. Cove walked you to the door and held it open. Taking one last check around to make sure you had all your things to bring home, you went into the road. He laid his body against the doorframe, not following you out. This is it, huh? Actually, that's not what I meant. That's what I mean. His expression twisted and he shook his head a bit, but he was trying to banish the pensive thoughts.
Bye.
I'll just say bye. Bye, I'll see you soon. Your mouth pulled into a soft smile and you weren't sure who you were trying to reassure more. One of his hands grabbed onto the door handle and firmly held it. He was stopping himself from coming along with you. As you walked over to your own front door, you stopped. Turning around, you spotted Cove right where you left him. You laughed quietly to yourself. For a small pause, you both stared at each other from across the street. I'm just gonna wave. Cove waved back with his whole arm. Good night. Things couldn't be dragged out any longer. After one more shared smile, you opened the door and went inside, shutting it behind you. Oh, I knocked. Thanks for the lurking. A few steps in, you saw your family gathered in the living room. They were still busy unpacking and cleaning. You added the things you brought to the pile on the kitchen counter. Oh my god, I'm so tired. It's taking so much out of me to read out loud. Mom stood up, rubbing her eyes a bit. She yawned loudly. Aunt Bush, how about we finish the rest of the chores tomorrow? Yes, honestly, it's too late for this.
Thanks.
Please and thank you. Ma put her hands on her hips and turned to assess the room. Ma was not one who liked to leave a mess about, but she sighed.
All right.
I suppose we can make an exception to the usual rule. It has been a really long day. Liz grinned contently. Lee wasted no time in skipping over to you and hooked you into a side hug. Good night. I hope you have the loveliest of dreams. I hope you have good dreams too. Lee's smile widened till it went from ear to ear. That would be a fantastic way to cap off today and start tomorrow. Here's to us. Tonight, tomorrow, and forever. Yeah, family forever. Lee leaned in to whisper in your ear. You didn't fail to catch the teasing look on her face.
Aw.
Exactly, there's no escape. I got a laugh out of you. You lightly pushed her shoulder. Lee stretched her arms over her head. She yawned loudly and looked at you with tired eyes. I think that's my cue to head to bed. Bye. I think so too. Have fun sharing the room with Liz. She laughed at that, and Lee shuffled off towards the guest bedroom. Before you had a chance to do anything else, you could feel the top of your head being tapped. You spun around to see Liz smirking. Nighty night, I'm heading to bed too. It's been a long day, and I have a lot to prepare for tomorrow. Exhaling, you automatically started fixing the back of your hair. When Liz didn't immediately walk away, you smiled softly at her. Everything okay? Her gaze moved away, and you knew she had more to say. You waited patiently for Liz to compose her thoughts. Okay. Just, it's been a good summer. It was nice to come back home. You nodded, and Liz gave you a teasing nudge as she went by. Amused, you turned and watched her go. Love you, baby brother. That's so cute. Bye, old sister. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say this. Liz stopped walking and stared at you for a moment. She smiled softly at you. Get some sleep soon. Morning will be here faster than you know it. We will. When Liz was out of sight, Mom started up the next conversation over her shoulder. Aren't you heading to bed too? I'm gonna relax first. Desperately, you needed some time to decompress and clear your mind. You worried if you went off to bed now that you would end up staring at the ceiling all night. Okay. Ma came over too, smiling understandingly. She pulled you into a big hug.
Love you.
Alright, do what you need to do, I love you. When you were done hugging Ma, Mom pulled you into another hug. Their actions basically handing you off to the other had you laughing jovially.
I love you.
That's so cute. I want to say the same back. Aww. They both couldn't resist taking turns hugging you again. Your smile widened and it felt good to be so loved. Good night, kiddo. Sleep tight. Good night, sweetie. After that, your mom headed off towards their bedroom down the hall. You were about to turn the other direction when you heard Mom's voice. And don't let the bedbugs bite, or Okay. You heard Ma chuckling as you watched them go with a smile. Time had passed, but you weren't entirely sure how much. Sighing, you sat up on the couch. It was a good rest, and all your tired muscles felt quite relaxed. You got up, planning on going to bed, when something out of the window caught your eye. Your feet brought you right in front of the large windows spanning the length of the back wall. You stared out into the hills behind your house. At the point cue, your phone came on, alerting you of a new notification. It was Cove. Okay. Want to hang out on the hill tonight. Something inside told you that this was the right kind of night to take a trip out there. You sent him back a very quick message. Where is my phone at? Oh, there it is. It's like getting notifications. I'm like, where's these notifications coming from, bro? Okay. Hold on. A smiley face. You went over to the front door, and stepping over the threshold, you gave the living room one last glance over your shoulder. Then you shut the door behind you. Silently, you made your way to the poppy hill. Sorry, I was checking my phone. With light steps in the dark, you walked across the hills behind your house. Up ahead, at the very top, silhouetted beneath the night sky, was a familiar figure already waiting there. Smiling, you wondered just how he always got there first. You even had the advantage of living closer. And again, and maybe it was only in your mind, but somehow Cove was intrinsically linked with this place. After all these years, it would be weird to scan this horizon and not find him there, as surreal as the shore without a sea. The distance between you was growing shorter by the second. Hearing the grass and earth crunch under your feet, Cove turned. A grin spread across his face as he saw you. You took your place standing behind him on the crest of the poppy hill, looking out over the ocean. Same as you'd done on countless times since he'd at first arrived, when you'd found him on that very same spot. He had officially broken the silence, the spell that had held you both in place. You looked at him expectantly. There's something I've always kind of wondered about. He cocked his head, giving you a sidelong glance. What did you think about when we met? I was just a kid you'd never seen before, bawling his eyes out on the hill next to your house. He chuckled, his eyes drifting towards the sea beyond before flicking back to you. The way his gaze pulled back to you made it clear that he was genuinely invested in the topic. Luckily for him, you remembered what initially struck you in that moment. It was as if it had only happened yesterday. Well, I remember noticing your very bright green hair. Ko burst into genuine laughter at your reply. I guess that's fair. It did kind of stand out. Sighing a bit, you continued to reminisce about that first meeting. I also remember feeling bad about what was happening. I remember that too. You ran a hand through his hair, and you knew his line of questioning wasn't at an end even before he spoke again.
I mean...
Do you remember what you thought about me, as a person? Was I annoying or mean or... I'm just worried about you because you were so upset. You seemed interesting, unusual. No, this one. His eyes widened dolefully, and he hung his head like a guilty puppy. I'm sorry for upsetting you. Ko's hand drifted to the scar on his arm, his fingers unconsciously gliding over the mark. It was much less noticeable than it had been when the neon pink cast had first come off, shrunken gradually over the years as his body healed, then dwarfed in comparison to his growing body. Still, his fingers came back to it without thinking. He gave a half smile, not meeting your eyes. I feel bad now. The thoughts I had were... Well, considering what you were thinking, I came across as a lot worse of a kid. You didn't like me?
No.
No, it definitely wasn't that. Cope lifted his head up, finally committing to meeting your eyes fully once more. I remember you that day. I remember it really well. I don't think I'd ever be able to forget. I could picture the way you looked back then when I first saw you standing right here. I still know the expression on your face when you chose to sit with me in the grass. He chuckled derisively? Derisively? I can't read. Interrupting his own monologue. You scared me at first. I figured I'd be alone out there until I had to face my dad again, and then suddenly another kid appeared out of nowhere. It was startling, but I got over that fast. You were a strange person in a strange place, but in that moment you were exactly what I needed. Somebody I could talk to freely about what was happening and how it made me feel. And you listened to me. You stayed with me. He sighed, then bit his lip as he gave a small smile. I was a little bit spoiled growing up. A little? I'm gonna let him continue. He looked off again, seeking clarity for his thoughts in the expanse of the night sky. What I'm trying to say is, when I was younger, I viewed myself basically as the center of the universe. I didn't even imagine it wasn't like that.
I mean...
Things didn't simply happen. That would be weird, according to my little kid brain. It made far more sense that everything in my life had a specific connection to me somehow, right? He sought affirmation in you, wavy brows raised as he tried to explain his childlike logic. So at the time, you felt almost unreal. Like you weren't just anyone, some other kid who happened to live in that neighborhood with your own whole life that wasn't connected to Cope Holden. Not to me, you were there so that you could find me when I was lost. Kind of expected it all to vanish like a dream when that night was over. I would wake up and everything would be the same again. I'd be back in my bed at home, my real home, with both my parents. The future was something I couldn't picture anymore. I didn't know what school would be like when I went back, or the table where I'd eat breakfast the next morning, or anything. And if I couldn't imagine it, how could I think it was something actually happening? I couldn't grasp my new reality. It was too big for me to hold all at once. So I never thought I'd see you again. The Cove beamed at you, his eyes shining bright. And I never, ever would have been able to guess that 10 years later, when I was a grown-up, the two of us would still be together. No way, has it really been that long? You mind counting on your hands? Brow furrowed in mock concentration as Cove laughed. But the smile faded from his face as his eyebrows drew together. That was the worst day of my life at the time, the day my family broke apart. It was too heavy for me to even think about. I felt that waved for I don't know how long. He held a hand over his heart, connecting with the pain he felt as a child, and looked at you earnestly.
It's okay.
But now everything is better, with me and my dad and my mom and between the two of us, so when I remember that time, it's not the point that my life was over. It's just the day I met you. That's so cute. It's so great everything worked out. I think so too. Cove sighed contently. His voice was as delicate as the petals on the poppies which crowned this hill. I'm so grateful you always chose me. Didn't even know what to say back to that. His heartfelt appreciation left you speechless. He tilted his head up, thoughts lost in the sparse clouds above. I wonder how late it is. I guess it doesn't really matter. My dad's fine with me being out whenever. You could just use your phone at the time. Let's see, what do I pick? Okay. Hold on a second. Okay. Sorry, I had to put something away. I'm gonna say you could just use your phone to check the time.
I know.
Sure, I could, but I'm probably not gonna. With a chuckle, Cove plopped down on the ground and laid on his back. His usual way of spending time there. You sat on Cove's chest, bro. Why would you sit on his chest? That's crazy. Here, hold on. There we go. I'm gonna say I sit down. You took your own spot next to him in the grass, brushing the blades of grass aside a bit with your hand. Sorry, hold on. The both of you fully settled in to relax on the hill. It felt like just the beginning of one of your nightly outings. But then you realized the sun was peeking out over the horizon. Cove spoke up with a disbelieving tone.
Huh.
It really was late. Your neighbor wasn't a stranger to being awake at dawn. However, not like this. He was normally an early sleeper, early riser. This unexpected sunrise particularly awed him. The two of you watched on silently as the sun began to light the world. Cove then propped himself on the backs of his arms and looked at you with a soft expression on his face. You want to go back home? I could carry you if you're too tired. I'd rather stay a little longer. You didn't mean to say yawn, but you were serious. It couldn't be time to go already. Cove chuckled affectionately.
I get it.
Okay, but it's been a long day. We've done a lot of things, like, really a lot. It has to end sometime. I know, you're right. Yeah, too bad I am on that one. You can say if you want to. Cove smiled brightly at you. It was warm as the new rays of sun that were tickling your skin. In that moment, you couldn't have appreciated him being there more. Situate yourself to be comfortable. You're my favorite neighbor. I'm gonna say nothing.
Good night.
Honk shoe, honk shoe. The two of you remained together on that familiar poppy hill where you first met until the world began to fade and blur. You were falling asleep. A few more gentle words drifted into your consciousness.
See you tomorrow.
Your eyelids dipped, but you felt good. You were safe and relaxed. Everything that had come before this had reassured you of that. You were confident that when you opened them again, things would be okay. You opened your eyes. Instead of the walls of your room, you were surrounded by open sky. It was not soft pillows and sheets beneath you, but the bed of earth and grass that had taken you last night. Or that you'd taken last night. I can't read. The day welcomed you with a shining sun, a refreshing breeze, and the chirping song of birds. You cupped your face into your hands as you sat up, feeling the imprint of the blades of grass leaving lines into your cheeks. Hearing your name, you lowered your hands and looked around. There he was, your most influential neighbor, Cove Holden. Bro, why is he so cute? I hate this. I hate this man. He's so fucking cute. He had made himself very comfortable, laying on his stomach with jewelry and socks taken off and a flower in his hand. Good morning. Good morning to you too. Cove laughed, tickled with the overall situation of simply being able to spend time like this. Told you I'd see you tomorrow. It's the exact same day. Alright, good for you. Your mild response did nothing to hamper Cove's buoyant spirits. It is, isn't it? Cove turned his head up to the sky, his expression content. Looks like it's going to be a nice day. We'll have to come up with something to do to make the most of it. He trailed off, blinking slowly in the sunlight. Someday, when we're even older than we are now, I wonder what we'll end up remembering this moment for. What will we feel when we look back at it? Will it be the same as what we're feeling right now?
It's nice.
I don't see what the future's gonna look like again, but I think that's alright. Let's see. I think it'll mark another new start for me. Cove's eyebrows lifted as he turned to look at you. That's a good one. I want to think about it like that too. He eyed the hill sprawling out before you and down below, where the wild hill and nature gave way to civilization. Your home and Cove's lay down at the bottom, neatly filed among the other houses in the neighborhood. I bet I can beat you in getting back to the road. You laughed, amused by the wager that reminded you of so many moments in your youth. As much as I like it here, it's okay if we leave now. We can always come back to see the poppies and fireflies again, right? Cove met your eyes, waiting for what you were going to say in response. I might be able to manage that. Your comment quirked a wry smile from Cove. His voice was lilted with mirth. Dude, what are these big words, dude? You're really irreplaceable, huh? Put your shoes on, bro. You're just letting it all out for free. Put those grippers away. Cove beamed at you. His expression was so unlike the one he'd worn when you first found him here. Swaddled in sadness and uncertainty. But yeah, you couldn't help but glimpse at that boy once more, underneath his bright expression and matured features.
Come on.
Come on. Cove rose to his feet, beckoning for you to do likewise. Our parents probably aren't going to come running for us this time. We've got to make our own call, and I say that we can't hide away forever. Poppy Hill is just one part of things. There's more out there for us than this time and this place alone. Let's enjoy it. You couldn't say whether you were the one that broke into our run, if Cove had been the one to start it, or if your feet had simultaneously made that choice for you both. The end result was the same, with the two of you dashing down the hill like children, but with the nostalgic revelry that could only come as an adult. As the wind whipped past you, you knew that family and friends were waiting at the end of your sprint. There were more memories to make after all. Oops. I think I missed that, hold on. life takes another step forward. Okay, that's the end of that. Skip, 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 skip. Come on.
I wake up to the colors in the sky. The day is new, the sun is bright.
Okay, I played all of it. In between, okay. Let's see if we can change our hair. I do like that one. We're probably gonna stick to that. Let's see. That looks fine. I'm guessing there's no earrings here that I want. Oh, there's stars and the rings up there on the top. Let's do some stars. Everything here looks fine still. Nails, no rings, none of that. We'll do a chest tattoo. Cove are relaxed and fond, and that's it. So your days growing up in the loving cradle of Sunset Bird came to an end. In the years that passed since graduation, you'd moved out of your childhood home and made your own way in the world. You... Ooh, pets, pets, pets. And you... I'm gonna say business of my own. Oh, gaming industry is pretty interesting. Family members went through the same kinds of leaps into independence. Liz and Lee both eventually earned degrees and started fantastic careers in new towns. Your mom's and Cove's father still lived on the same street as they had before all these years before. It was comforting to you that there were some things that remained in the old neighborhood. Despite the ever-changing reality of your adult life, your friends were still your friends. But of course, things weren't exactly the same for them either. Very recently, Terry publicly came out as a man. Hell yeah. Switched the spelling of his name to use a Y instead of an I. He also confessed his love for Miranda, which she excitedly reciprocated. They moved in together recently in the city out past Sunset Bird. Derek was as busy as always, but doing well. He always made an effort to keep in touch, and even saw each other in person occasionally. One person who did disappear in the shuffle of memories inside your mind was Baxter. It was his vacation in Sunset Bird when you were here. He was just gone. What the fuck? That was a loss he felt. He had become someone you'd considered a friend during those days. So wait. Where the fuck is he? Where the fuck is he? And then there was what became of the sad little boy you grew up with. Of course, he was still a very important person in your heart. Cove was a friend, cherished friend, and family. I'm gonna say friend. Probably living far from each other. He truly thrived in his continued efforts of cultivating loving and supportive relationships with his family and friends. You can say his personality had changed exactly, instead it became more refined. Cove was a warm and inviting, considerate man who took the lessons he'd learned over the years to treat the people around him with patience and understanding. When Cobb eventually developed a picture of the future he wanted to have as an adult, it made perfect sense to you based on his interests. Cobb got a 2-year degree. After that, he began working full-time at Orca, helping educate the public on ocean conservation and participating in shore restoration efforts. As an adult, Cobb was also able to recognize and have diagnosed that he was on the autism spectrum. Yes, bitch, that's what I knew it! It was something that hadn't been noticed by his doctors as a child. He was still the same Cobb he always was to you, and he was just glad to understand himself better. It thrilled you to see how happy and successful he'd grown up to be. On the whole, life continued as steady beat forward. It steady beat forward, and you all went with it down the paths you chose. It was strange and wonderful. But no matter how old you got, how far you'd roamed, how long you were away, the home you had in Sunset Bird still called you back eventually. Okay, where are we? The car rumbled down the highway. You had started to zone out when a truck in the left lane loudly zoomed past. Your driver didn't remark on it. Just like anything else this trip, you went back to staring out the window, letting the scenery pass you by. You did appreciate the spacious back seat of your ride. You hadn't known exactly when you would be coming in, so you decided to use a ride app rather than ask your mom to pick you up. But it turned out to be a convenient choice. You looked forward to surprising your parents at the door. You smiled at the thought of their faces lighting up. You'd been traveling for hours upon hours. The miles added up. You'd been sitting and napping and checking the time every so often. Yet with your moms in mind, the long trip was worth it. For once, your moms had decided to have a modest celebration dinner for their anniversary. Unlike when you were growing up and you preferred not to make a big deal out of it, this year they were comfortable having a party. As time went on, they had found being the center of attention easier to handle. You were happy to see it. With this going on, there was no way that either you or Liz would miss your mom's anniversary. Both of you made plans to come back home for it. You didn't hear from Liz about her exact schedule, but you hadn't shared yours either. It reminded you of when you were kids and both knew to show up for dinner, but didn't keep each other in the loop for each other's pre-dinner plans. This was the same concept after all. Some things stayed the same, and yet it was definitely different from when you would see your sister every day and knew sort of what she was doing anyways from osmosis. Today you had no idea. Things were always changing. You mused on how at times it was hard to believe you didn't live with your parents anymore, and yet you also couldn't imagine going back and living as a kid under their rules. The rest of the drive flew by. Your silent driver provided a smooth ride. No sharp turns or hard stops jolted you out of your own head. Or jostled. I can't read. How many times have I said that? 3 already? Okay, I'm gonna take a break. Stretch my legs. Alright. I will be right back. I returned. Hello. I have warmed up some food. Because I am still hungry. I really wanted to finish eating my food. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Your thoughts turned from introspective to observant. The landscape passing by became more and more familiar. You frequently recognized the landmarks that dotted the area. A grin came to your face as you passed the now entering sign for Sunset Bird. Excitement built within you. You were really here. You were doing this. Your driver turned off on a straight and you realized that their map program was taking you the way home that Ma preferred. You usually would have used the other side straight to pass by the beach. In no time at all, the car had gone through the whole town and pulled in front of your mom's condo. The car slowed to a stop and parked. With the buzz of the highway gone, you realized that you could hear the familiar sound of waves. The air smelled like salt, and a rush of childhood memories flooded back. You started to gather your things and humming to yourself once more about how happy your moms would be to see you. After that, you'd notify everyone else that you'd made the trip safely. You pulled over your suitcase from the other side, or from the other seat, and yanked it at your bag from down near your feet. Tap, tap. You startled at the sudden sound of tapping on glass. It caused you to pause. Did you really hear what you thought you did? You weren't entirely sure since you soon heard something else, the window on the opposite side of the car rolling down. It confused you until you put it together. Despite the driver's silence, you weren't actually alone in this car. The driver must have pressed the button. Someone had to be there. You turned your head to face the now open window. Why is he so hot? What a surprise this is. I didn't expect to see you in this neighborhood. He was joking, of course. Seeing your expression, he decided to push it further. It's not like I've been waiting for you out here all morning or anything. You survived. So burst out laughing at your delivery. It wasn't easy. He then gripped the top of the car door and pushed half of his torso through the opening. That was enough to make the driver break their silence with a sharp, "Hey!" Cope did not seem to notice and continued climbing in through the window. He pushed one hand down in the middle seat to prop his dangling body up. I missed you. What the fuck? I'm gonna shake my head. His answering smirk was utterly unrepentant. Hey, now get out of the window, you crazy person. But it's so comfortable. His body was shaking from the effort it took to maintain his precarious position. Co's smile turned awkward as his arm started to bend lower, causing his body to slide downwards with it. He turned his head to the driver.
Sorry.
I'm always causing trouble in this neighborhood. Cobb shifted around some more and squirmed back the way he came. After he had successfully pushed off the window and landed on the pavement with a thump, you opened your car door. You threaded your arms to the very straps of your bags and climbed out. Cobb took a few long strides around the back of the car and quickly met you on your side. Cobb stood in front of you, and it struck you that the two of you were back in Sunset Bird, reunited once again on the street. Shy wave. He gave a wide wave, paired with a goofy grin. You really were ecstatic to be around him again, and absolutely thrilled that it was here in this town where you were together. Cove's schedule had let him come up earlier than you. He only arrived the evening before, however, and secured the hotel room. It had been much too long since you'd seen Cove live in person. The distance between you meant that sometimes you didn't see each other for weeks or even months at a time. After so many years of being around him almost every day, it was hard to adjust to. At least for now, it wasn't a worry. Oh. You oddly shifted your luggage, and it struck you that you were short what? You got out in such a hurry it was left behind. You reached back in the car to pull it out. Posted aside as you made a dash for the door, you shouldered the small bag and felt relieved that you'd be able to brush your teeth tonight. Got everything this time? You sat up straight, everything truly gathered up and out of the car. You gave the back seat one last glance and then nodded. I need to eat some food, goddammit. Cove shut the car door after he had moved out of the way. The three of you stepped off the street to give the driver some room. Cove waved. Sorry again. The driver said nothing and drove off. With the road clear, you let your gaze drift across the neighborhood they had known forever. It was such a small place to spend so many days. You were flooded with memories of going up and down the street during every stage of your life. Being a little kid, following your big sister to the playground, becoming a teen and staying out later, and growing into an adult who left their parents' house behind to be independent. You could feel the summer sun on your skin from all the times you had headed out to the beach. You felt the same surroundings that you, as a young adult, did when leaving home. It was hard to quantify the amount of history you had here. And now you were back. Despite taking in the neighborhood again, you never lost awareness of Cove's presence. From the corner of your eye, seeing him there was a very familiar sight as well. So many of your memories included him. Your mind drifted from the neighborhood itself to the person who used to live there. You couldn't help feeling the nostalgia. You still remember his face, his voice, drawing his arm from days long gone. He had changed so much since you had first met him. Yet even with those changes, he was always recognizable. He was familiar like the sky was, and the way you knew the sea. Every day they may appear different, but they're still an intricable part of life. It was the world with the help of Mr. Coven and his ill-thought $20 bill to brought you together to begin with, so the two of you had chosen each other. I wonder if I ruined this, because I want the Baxter route. You never let your interactions fade. You decided to nurture your relationship into what it was. And you would continue to keep Cove close in all the rest of your adult years. Cove was such an important friend to you. He was someone who knew you like very few people ever could. In the two of you, you had years of inside jokes, enough to make an entire secret language of nothing but references to your many adventures together. You had been there for his tough times, and he had been there for yours. It would be impossible to imagine life without him. Cove noticed you staring at him after a while, and smiled with his eyebrows rising in curiosity. He was very transparent in his question if there was something he wanted to say. You shook your head, and returned him a soft expression. You let yourself get carried away in a tide of memories, but now it was time to focus on the present. Ready to go see my mom's? Cove nodded and then pointed at all your luggage bundled around your legs. Can I help with any of that? You can help with all of it.
Fine.
Fine, I should have seen that coming. He held out his arms to the smirk and didn't protest as you loaded him up as your luggage carrier. Looked a little silly covered in your bags, but stood proud regardless. The bag situation resolved, the two of you strolled over to the Chihuahua residence store. You started to pat your pockets instinctively, only to realize that you no longer carried a key to the house. Your eyes scanned the entryway, a little lost, only to spy the doorbell. The thought of having to ring it felt super weird. As you pressed the inconveniently placed button on the sidewall, you remember that no matter how much this place would always be a home to you, it wasn't where you lived. Being back here was like putting on a uniform after you put the store where it came from. It had remained the same, but your circumstances had changed. Cove shifted on his feet awkwardly, obviously also thrown about you being stuck out here, keyless. You heard muffled voices and shuffling around from the inside. Your heartbeat sped up in anticipation. The door swung open and there was your mom's smiling face. She immediately brightened at seeing you standing there. Oh god, she got old. Mom twisted her hair back and gave a shout down the hall. Lonnie, guess who's here? Hear more distant noises, no doubt Ma getting up from wherever she had to come see. Her high-spirited words rang out clearly. I hope it's one of my children. Mom snickered, still holding the door only half open to hide you for a little longer. Cove flushed as he suddenly realizing that he was going to be present for your mom's enthusiastic welcoming of you. He smiled to reassure him that he wasn't intruding. Ma finally reached the door and peered over Mom's shoulder. It is. Gave you a once-over, patting the tops of your shoulders and moving down the sides of your arms before she nodded in satisfaction that you were in one piece.
How sweet.
It was a wonderful surprise. Ma inclined her head to Cove next, not leaving him out either. Hello, sweetie. You snorted at your mom's greetings. They never changed. Hold on, let me get a drink. I had this leafy drink real quick. Oh, that's a really strong flavor. I don't know what I expected, but it was not that. I'll just drink water. Cove bashfully waved at them. He hadn't relaxed really, but he had settled down at their welcome. Don't just stand out there, come on in. Your mom moved aside and held the door open for you, gesturing for you to enter. You stepped into the living room. It was comfortable and cool. Cove was a half step behind you, his eyes on a new painting your mom's must have added since the last time you were here. Things were mostly the same. There were more decorations since you had seen the house last. Mom may have gotten the urge for some interior designing again. Struck you how odd it was to be the guest, only observing their choices for the living space here rather than a full-time occupant. Mom came up in front of you, excitement in her eyes. So glad you're here.
That's fine.
You know your mom and I would have been happy to pick you up, but you're self-sufficient and responsible. That's okay. What matters is that you arrived safely. Ma appeared at her side with a nod. Welcome back, kiddos. You appreciated that your parents respected you as an adult, even if Mom still called you kiddo. You figured long ago that you'd always be her kiddo no matter how grown you became. It was part of the whole parent-child deal with her. Oh, I'm gonna hug parents. Took another step forward and pulled Mom and Ma into a great big hug, squeezing them tight. Their arms wrapped around you in return, and you could feel their love for you in their embrace. Well, let's see. I wanted to surprise you. You succeeded. Your timing was lovely. It's always nice that I'm able to come by. Your mom giggled, pleased. I hope you've been doing well. Is everything set up for your anniversary dinner?
No problem.
We're happy to help if there's something we can do. We've been plenty fine. It's been a little quiet, but that's not a bad thing. Mom placed her arm around Ma's shoulder and gave her a side hug.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about the party. We're just planning to eat at the Cypress, nothing fancy, which is kind of a funny thing to say about a fancy country club. The biggest issue has been making sure everyone could make it for the day. Speaking of which, Liz will be arriving tonight. We're planning on picking her up later. I guess Liz isn't as grown up as Brandon. Mom snickered at her own joke, and Ma lightly elbowed her with a barely hidden grin.
Shush.
So saying, we could drop you off wherever you're staying if you don't mind waiting for that. I'm sorry there's not space for you in the house. It's gotten crowded in these old rooms since you and Liz moved out. I don't know where all this stuff keeps coming from. Sure you don't, Pamela. It's okay. Cove already has a hotel. I'm gonna be staying in anyway. Cove sent you some pictures of the place when he arrived. Stylish and roomy, it seemed very nice. It was a spacious double room. He claimed that his bed was comfortable, so he had high hopes about your own. Your mom smiled, relieved. Kira's already here, isn't she? She directed her question at Cove. He bobbed his head a bit to go along with his reply. Yeah, I heard she made it. I'm gonna be staying with Dad while she's in town.
Oh.
Have you gone over and said hello yet? Cove chuckled self-consciously, and this time he shook his head. He raised an eyebrow, since he had figured he would have taken the chance while waiting for you. Not yet. I should go do that now. I just wanted Brandon to be there too. He stuck a peek at you with an affectionate smile. Mom laughed at that, no doubt thinking that Cove was sweet but ridiculous.
Nice.
It's nice to know your priorities. Yeah. Cove awkwardly rubbed his arm and shifted on his feet, looking too much like he did as a kid.
So?
You want to go over to my house now? That's a good idea. We won't be leaving until late evening. You heard Ma. Let's go to see your parents. Cove perked back up, excited once more. We'll keep an eye on your things while you're out. There's no reason to be carrying all that around. You set down your bags in the living room, tucked into a corner where they wouldn't be in the way. Cove helped. Your mom saved the two of you off as you walked back to the entranceway. Thanks, see you soon. You waved back and opened the front door for Cove. We thought you were on your way to see Cove's family next. This trip put a special little pep in Cove's steps as you crossed the street to his dad's house together. Your spirits were equally high. Doing this, you felt like a teen again. You had known Cove's parents for a long time now. When it came to what you called his dad, Cliff. Hold on. I want to get some food in my mouth. I'm still eating, sorry. Although it was awkward on your tongue at first, it rolled off comfortably now. You appreciated how much you saw he was an adult and friend, and not just the kid from across the street. As for Kira, you had always preferred you calling her by her first name. To this day, you still did so. Cove hopped up to the front door and didn't bother knocking. He twisted the knob and it swung open. With a grin, Cove gave you a gratified thumbs up. You shook your head in disapproval, but you both knew that you hypocritically supported his behavior. Your dad is lucky we aren't criminals. He brushed her comment aside and went right into his old home. Cliff was there, standing in his kitchen, babysitting a pan on the stove. His head turned to the sound of footsteps, and he brightened instantly at the sight of you both. Cove matched his enthusiasm instantly. If it was anyone else, he would have thought he was lighting up with a childlike joy over seeing his dad again. But since you knew what Cove was actually like as a kid, you were aware this level of happiness with Cliff was definitely not equivalent to any childhood feelings of his. That's so cute. Cliff gracelessly, Jesus Christ, pushed first what he was cooking to a different burner and flipped off the heat. He rushed over to you both. Cove flew forward and met him halfway in a hug. Cove squished his eyes shut and held his dad in a tight hug. Cliff soothingly rubbed his son's back. The more of an adult Cove became, the more he turned into a big daddy's boy, it seemed. I missed you. I missed you. It was sweet, and teasing aside, it was wonderful to see them at this place in their relationship after years of struggling to connect. When the hug broke, Cliff hooked an arm around his son's neck. He let out a deep laugh. I still can't believe you outgrew me. Oh yeah, he is taller than him, I forgot. I really thought I had that on him after he graduated from high school, but then he had to keep going. That's such a dad thing to say, too. Chuckling, he shook his fist in mock anger. Cove ducked his head and laughed in kind. Sorry, Dad. Cove's cheeks turned pink, and he averted his eyes. He was becoming bashful, so you knew he had more that he wanted to say. Cove softly added, but I was raised really well. His dad's expression instantly crumbled with emotion. He sniffled. Cove put an arm around him too and tugged him into a side hug. He observed their little reunion fondly, happy to let them enjoy their moment. They were a perfect pair of sentimentality. Cliff eventually turned his attention to you.
Hey.
Great to see you. He pulled away from Cove and approached you with a little wave. He was back to his cheery self. Hi. Wave. Excited, the words burst from you like a firecracker. He hopped forward with a big wave and his head tilted back, roaring with happy laughter. I missed having you around. Nodding, you could feel a warm blush rising in your face. It felt good being back home. Cliff cleared his throat, drawing attention to himself. He crossed his arms. Well, before we get too carried away, it's not a real reunion yet. Kira's still in the guest suite. I'll go get her. He eagerly bolted down the hall, and you could hear every step he took. It ended with a distinct knock. Kira, they're here. It was only seconds before there was the sound of a door being yanked open, the pounding of feet hitting the floor. The wood floor. Were even louder this time.
My baby!
Aww. Next to you, Cove let out a nervous laugh. His parents entered the living room, and Kira stretched her arms out wide when she spotted you both. Cove went to her easily. I'm gonna raise my arms to pass. Kira gave you an understanding smile and nod. You breathed a sigh of relief that all was good. Affectionately, you watched Kira close her eyes and cradle her son in her arms. Cove melted into the hug, wrapping an arm around his mom and resting his head on top of hers. After a moment, Kira let go and pulled back to get a better look at your faces. She surveyed every inch of them and appeared satisfied. You're both looking well. That's wonderful, and just what I like to see.
Thanks.
Welcome back. Kira's gaze moved around the room to taking in you, Cove, and Cliff. Her smile widened. I couldn't be happier to be back here with my favorite people. So it's new. How have you both been? Kira gave a nod for Cliff to go first. Cheerfully, he waved a hand. Jesus.
No worries.
Same old. Still got the shop, still got my friends and family, of course. And still, the most exciting thing around here is seeing who will rent that one free condo. Incredible. I always knew you were such a snorer. Bruh. Let me get some food in my mouth. Hold on. They snickered, and you couldn't help but peek at Cove. He rolled his eyes dramatically, drawing out a few giggles from you, but the whole time there was still a happy smile fixed on his face.
Well,
For me, things have been good. I've gotten a lot of interesting assignments lately. I recently went to Seattle, and Kira twirled a strand of her hair shyly. Her mouth curved into a grin. Whatever she was thinking about, it made her happy. Things have still been going well with that guy from work. But it's a little early to bring him all the way out to California to meet their family. Philip crossed his arms. He and his dad nodded. It was clear she appreciated the acceptance from her two boys. I hope he gets a seal of approval when he does come around. He added the thumbs up to keep things light. Her smile widened right before you gesture. So that's us. Do you two have plans for your first day back? The only thing I have to do is pick up Liz later tonight before we head back to our hotel room.
Great.
He suddenly looked over his shoulder, his eyebrows pushed together. I'm glad you're here, but I just remembered that I was in the middle of cooking something. Only a small cackle escaped you, while you fought off the giant grin taking over your face. Meanwhile, Colt erupted into laughter that had his dad shaking his head. That's fine. Go salvage what you can. I think it'd be nice to explore the old neighborhood for a while anyway, since we've got the time. Cope directed that last part to you as he spoke, hoping that you'd want to go with him. You nodded automatically. You were already looking forward to it. That's a perfect idea.
makes sense.
I think so too. You should go enjoy the day. I'll hang back here so I won't be a third wheel. Someone's gotta keep an eye on Cliff before he catches the whole kitchen on fire. Mom, you're not a third wheel. Cope stiffly stuck his arms against his sides like a little child. Small smirk tugged at Kira's mouth. She winked. You know what I mean. Have a good walk. I'll see you both later. Surely Cliff waved before going back to his cooking. Cove smiled warmly.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Cove trailed behind you as he walked into the welcoming summer sun. He stopped, closing his eyes to stretch his arms in the warm rays. We're gonna do a side-by-side. We're not doing all that other shit. Neither of you had a particular destination in mind, but muscle memory brought you both down familiar paths you'd walked together a million times. Closing your eyes, you could feel Cove right there next to you. His presence guided you while you saw out the sight, the sound of the waves crashing into the shore. The quiet roar of the water put an extra bounce in your step. Naturally, you found yourself heading down the road towards the beach. Your spirits rose even higher as you strolled across the sand, heading for the shopping district. Arriving, you wove past tourists who were taking in the sights of for the very first time. Being a local was a badge of honor you wore proudly. Casually walked past the shops. Over the years, some had closed down, but many of the stalls were still exactly the same as they were when you were little. With that, your stroll along the shopping street picked up back where Cove had made it drop. We just walked? That's all we did? The sun arched across the sky as you went up and down the road as a pair. By the time you returned to the beach, day was beginning to fade into night. Cove kicked his shoes off, tossing them into the sand. He wanted to get his feet wet in the waves as fast as possible. I'm gonna avoid the water. Content, you watched Cove wade ankle deep. You could already imagine how he was wiggling his toes far into the sand. Cove shied contentedly. He followed his line of sight to the setting sun, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink. It really feels like summer now. He wore a bent smile when he turned to you. The light illuminated like a halo behind him. In fact, it's hard to think of anything that feels more perfectly summer than moments exactly like this. Being here at sunset and Sunset Bird with you. I'm so glad we were able to come back for a visit. You hummed an agreement. I guess it's not so bad. With a snort, Cove glanced up, meeting your eye with a knowing stare. You bit the inside of your cheek to prevent laughter from escaping. Bro, did you just ask me if I'm going to fucking Coachella? My guy. I just got a car. Hold on, I got a message. Bam, 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 bam. Also, Coachella's for normies. Okay. Coachella's dumb. Waste of money. I'm like eating at the same time as trying to read. It sucks. You know, I thought about playing something else today, but I really want to play more of this. Coachella is the new thing, so you don't go to Coachella and you watch lots of YouTube videos or movies. I have a job. I don't have a choice. But to go to work. I don't have time to be sitting on the couch doing nothing. With a snort, Cove glanced up, meeting your eye with a knowing stare. You bit the inside of your cheek. Okay. I might have missed it. Cove murmured quietly, losing himself in his thoughts again, shortly after you saw his hand shoot down in the sand. He stood straight back up with a left-handed smile and got to work brushing the sand off his prize. You know, without a single word, Cove found a new shell for your collection. As you wandered down the beach, Cove followed at your side in a comfortable silence. Your shadows stretched across the sand, like they were leading the way. Only noise you could hear were the soft footfalls of your feet and the waves gently rocking into the shore. For a moment in time, it felt like there were only the two of you in your own little world. Eventually, the bubble popped when you realized that your phone was going off. It was Ma, hoping that you were going to be back soon. Curious, Cove's eyes slid down to your phone. You let your hand fall back down to your side. You held the phone pressed against the palm of your hand. It's Ma. She wants to know when we'll be there. Bob scratched the back of his neck and shook his head. His mouth twitched like he was... That's gonna shed me. Something moved on my disc. His mouth twitched like he had just had a funny thought. Dang parents always trying to make us come home before it gets too dark. There's no escaping from curfew as long as we're in this neighborhood. It's like we warped back into being little kids the moment we set foot at the entrance sign. Cove's nose crinkled in fake disgust and you both burst into a fit of giggles. It'd be nice not to have to worry about bills again. Sometimes. After one last glance, you put your phone away again. Cove gave a small shrug. Ready? Yep. Let's go. Together you left the beach, feeling the call of home pulling you forward. Both of you ran off towards your mom's house, leaving the waves behind but welcoming the beginning of the summer. Cove and you ran up from the beach, and sand flying from your steps. Cove made it to the road first, but you managed to catch up to him by the time you reached the house. It wasn't exactly a race, and yet it also wasn't not a competition. Both of you were laughing by the time you bumbled through your old front door together. You inhaled deeply and shouted loud enough to be heard anywhere in the house. We're here. Your moms were seated in the living room. Their eyes sparkled as they locked on you, and your light dusting of sand.
Hello.
Mom leaned forward, eyebrows raised as your jubilant entrance. Mom sighed wistfully.
Aww.
That brings back memories. Hold on, gotta blow my nose. Ugh. That was weird. Cove chuckled shyly as he scratched the back of his head. Hope we're not too late. Nope, you're just in time, but you better start packing it up. Liz will be waiting. Ma nodded as she stood up from her seat. She lightly ran her fingers over her clothes to smooth out the wrinkles. Took you a second to remember where you had put your stuff. You needed to get it all in the car so you could get everything back to your hotel. Can I help? You shrugged and directed him to your bags. With Cove, your moms, and yourself on the job, only took one trip to the car to get everything. Cove firmly closed the trunk, and he thanked everyone for the assistance. Of course, kiddo. Come along, Chihuahua family, let's get in the car. That means you too, Cove. You know you're essentially family anyways. Thanks. Exactly, well said. Cove climbed into the back seat with a decidedly touched expression on his face. You got in on the other side. When everyone was situated and buckled, the engine was started and Ma pulled out onto the street. You couldn't help but feel amused to be stuck in the backseat with Cove. Your mom's driving you around. It really was like you were little kids again. Cove caught you staring at him and gave you a bent smile. He was probably on the same wavelength as you from the sheer mischief in it. There was some light chatting on the drive. No one brought up anything too deep, and it mostly became swapping jokey stories. The entire trip was marked by a heavy sense of anticipation. Everyone was ecstatic to see Liz and hear what she had been up to. When you neared the airport, Mom pulled out her phone to call Liz. Ma followed the signs to the correct pickup area and asked for you to shout if you saw your sister. Yeah, Liz, we're at Wing B. There's a blue sign that says North America.
Alright.
I love that we're right in front of the building with the blue windows. She says she's outside, right by a yellow truck. I see at least 3 yellow trucks. I think they're doing work at the airport. The back and forth continued, with Ma driving around on the wide circular airport road while Mom attempted coordination between her and Liz's location. Ah! He leaned forward, peering out the front of the car. A tall, poised silhouette pulled a pale purple roll-along suitcase behind her. It was definitely Liz. She waved to the car. Ma parked along the sidewalk next to her, and Ma put her phone away with a cheer. Mission accomplished, team. Ma excitedly reached over to grasp Mom's raised hand, thrilled that both of her kids were back.
Good job.
That's right. Liz came closer and yanked open the back door beside her. She popped her head into the car, her smile ornery despite how tired she appeared. It must have been a long trip for her, yet her expression was that same familiar smirk that you had grown up with.
Hey.
She's so pretty. Hello, children, I'm back. Rude. Liz shrugged, unaffected by your joking accusation. You'll survive. The 2 of you were definitely siblings. I'm gonna hug her. You quickly unbuckled and then launched yourself at your sister. She wrapped her arms around you and squeezed. Well, hi to you too, kiddo. Hello, sweetie. It's so nice that you're here. Hi, Elizabeth. He jokingly huffed at her. We're not children. What do you say, baby boy? She turned her gaze back to Mom and Ma. You really know how to make someone feel appreciated. Her spirits were high. You could tell she was just as happy to be here as everyone was to see her. Shut the door open, but ducked out to walk around to the back of the car. She opened the trunk and lifted her luggage in. I'm gonna move your junk, Brandon. Keep it in front of my bag so you can get it later. Mom's dropping you off first, right? Yes, but that's not junk. It's important. Liz slammed the trunk closed without responding. Liz swung around to the open door. You noticed that her hair had a few flyaways, no doubt from a long day of traveling. I have like an hour left. Let's see how much more we can get through. I'm gonna try to get some more food in my mouth. I'm hungry. I love the music in this game, but it's making me tired. I don't know why I'm so tired. Like sleepy tired. She leaned against the frame of the car, giving you and Cove a significant look. I am not sitting in the middle. I already had 5 hours of that nightmare on the flight. There's no way I'm getting in between the 2 of you.
So?
I don't care how you decide who's scooting. I figure you could have fight it out somehow. Both glanced over at you and shrugged. He unbuckled his seatbelt and moved to the middle. Good job, I wasn't moving. Liz snorted and reached over to Cove to offer you a high five. Yo, I'm kinda mean, what the fuck? Nice, hold your ground. Cove shook his head but didn't object. You knew your thoughts in the middle seat. With the window seat open, Liz squished herself into the car and shut the door. Oh, ad's about to start in 1 minute. Just a warning. If you want to see ads, you can go ahead and subscribe for like $6. Or if you have a Twitch Prime, you can subscribe for free with that. If you have Turbo, you don't need to worry about ads, but there will be 3 minutes of playing ads regardless, so sorry. Did I read this already? The window seat open, Liz squished herself into the car and shut the door. Okay. When everyone was settled, Ma began to pull out.
Let's go.
We're off. Liz crossed her legs, compacting herself tightly. She braced most of her weight on the door behind her instead of sitting up straight. It gave her a little more room. Hopefully we finish the journey. This car is almost as old as we are.
No.
And it's still just as good as you are. All the complaining definitely means Liz is back. So complains Brandon. Ma turned out the radio as Ma emerged onto the highway. The station was familiar, the normal soundtrack for her when she had driven you and Liz around town. Liz bounced in her seat, enjoying the classic tune. The song would be old enough to vote at this point if it were a person. That was hard to believe. With Liz, the conversation livened up despite it getting later and later in the night. She told you all about her week and all the travel preparations she made. By the time she'd made it to the actual tale of travel itself, Liz started chuckling. On the plane, Liz had sat next to a couple of girls who had talked a lot about how well they could read people. Liz recounted their conversation with her in hilarious detail, as they had apparently tried to guess her occupation only after shaking her hand. Neither of the girls could agree with one another, and Liz refused to just tell them. However, the drive to the hotel was only so long. Eventually, your group arrived. You yawned and got out of the car when it stopped. Oh, there's this word again. Cove clamored. I can't. I guess to be a silent, maybe? Out after you. Liz gave a loud sigh of relief, all the extra space she found herself with. You and Cove grabbed the luggage and then waved off your family after you said your goodbyes. After you left, you and Cove went to go find your room. You scanned the key card to unlock your hotel room. It sounded out a soft beep and you turned the handle of the door. I can smell this picture. Like when you get into a fresh, new, like clean hotel room after a long day of travel, you just like take a big whiff, like time to rest. Blah. Sorry, I'm trying to eat food. The door creaked open, and you craned your head in to take a look. You saw the two queen-size beds on opposite sides of the room, further separated by a sleek nightstand. It was a prim, modern-looking space. It seemed clean and smelled faintly like floral air freshener. Can I have the one near the window? Sure. Thanks. He gave you a winning smile and walked over to his new bed. He flopped onto it and seemed quite comfortable. I got a good hotel, didn't I? Thanks for handling this. No problem. He beamed, glad to have your appreciation. You and Cove continued to chat as he settled in. You unpacked some of your stuff and checked out all the room's amenities. Cove pointed out the mini fridge and started puzzling over what food could be ordered to the room. However, the fact was you both were exhausted. It didn't take too many yawns before you both changed your pajamas and called it a day. You found the light switch near the door. The plastic was cool under your fingertips as you clicked it off. Cove crawled under his covers. From the lingering light, you can make out him shoving the bedspread off to the side, but only keeping the sheets on top of him. You comfortably made your way to your own bed in the dark and make yourself comfortable. You had to really use some elbow grease on the tightly tucked sheets to unmake the bed enough to get under them. Yo, I can literally imagine myself getting in that bed right now. Like, maybe it's just me, but like, I feel like I've gone to many conventions and I've stayed in so many hotel rooms that I can just like imagine and remember what it feels like to get under those covers. How cold it feels on my skin. But like how soft and comfortable it is. And then like turning all the lights off. Dude, it's making me miss that con life, bro. Dude, I've been thinking about con life so much recently. Okay. Why isn't he doing that? Okay. Eventually, you were as snug as a bug under the white sheets that smelled faintly of fresh laundry. Hell yeah. You rolled to face Cove. He did the same, and the two of you regarded each other in the low light. He smiled cheerily, excited to be on this vacation with you. Even in the darkness, his enthusiasm shone through. You smiled back. It was nice having Cove here with you. Good night. Okay, I gotta put this in here. Cove blinked at your random tangent. You yawned and continued talking, your sleepy brain happy to info dump. Pigeon actually used to refer to a young cheeping bird, not a species like it does now. Cove nodded along as you continued, seeming interested despite the random topic. By the time he finished, he had propped himself up with his pillows, utterly content. Cove began to speak again. It was loud enough to hear, but quiet enough that you leaned forward on your mattress to make it out. Can't believe we're really here. You and Liz and everyone else are going to be here in Sunset Road again. I was staring at all the scenery going by while we were driving here, and it honestly felt like we never left. He ran a hand down his face. I mean, in some ways it feels like it's been ages and everything's different. Some of that is definitely because I'm staying at a hotel instead of being in my room at Dad's, but yeah. It's so weird. Cove nodded, he understood completely. I'm looking. A yawn forced an interruption in the statement. Cove was undeterred. I'm looking forward to this. Same here.
See you tomorrow.
Alright then. But I want to eat my food. His words were a whisper. He barely heard. It might not even have been that exactly. He might have just been guessing. Cove always had a habit of mumbling. It was okay either way, whether you heard it or only thought you heard. The sentiment was true regardless. Cove would see you tomorrow when he opened his eyes and the sunlight returned to your hometown of Sunset Bird. You comfortably drifted off to sleep and eagerly awaited seeing Cove tomorrow as well. It was already morning the next time you opened your eyes. Despite waking up in an unfamiliar bed, you were feeling good. Your eyebrows pushed together in confusion while you sat up. The blanket pulled in your lap, and the sudden sound of water startled you. Yawning, you turned towards Cove's bed. He wasn't there. Glancing in the other direction, you spotted him brushing his teeth in the bathroom. You caught your shuffling at the corner of his eye. Cove smirked with the toothbrush still between his teeth. He pivoted on his heels and gave you a little wave before needing to lean back over the sink to spit. Happy, you stretched your arms high over your head and then twisted the knot out of your back before getting out of bed. Cove finished up brushing quickly and leaned over the faucet to rinse his mouth out. Did you know that when you brush your teeth, you're not actually supposed to rinse it out? Because what you're doing is just getting rid of the soap that cleans your teeth, and it's not actually doing its job. Did you know that? So, like, next time you brush your teeth, don't rinse your mouth out. Otherwise, you're brushing your teeth for nothing. By the time you had your feet on the floor, he was back in the main area of the hotel room. He took a seat on the end of his bed. Good morning. Good morning, sleep well? He added a playful grin at the end of that. Cove scratched the back of his neck, humming. Yeah, I did. Standing up, Cove took a few seconds to stretch. He glanced over at you with an animated expression. I'm really looking forward to your mom's anniversary dinner tonight. It's gonna be fun. I think so too.
I mean...
This whole trip is great, really. It's great, actually. Being here with everybody is like having another chance at being a kid. We can do all the stuff we used to, and all the things we never did but wanted to. Yeah. Something about the way Cove worded that dug in a memory you hadn't thought about in a long time. The first time you met his dad and the money he offered you. Chewing at the inside of your cheek, it felt like a lifetime ago, but you knew that it would still matter to Cove if he knew. You just weren't entirely sure what it would mean to him. You snuck a peek at Cove, but his stare was already glued to you. He raised a questioning eyebrow, leaving the rest up to you. Unless it's a funny story. You scratched the back of your neck, searching for the right way to tell him. Amused, Cove's expression melted into a fond smile while he waited. I'm gonna tell him the deal. Well, actually, a ridiculously long time ago, the first time I met your dad, he tried to pay me $20 to be your friend. His mouth fell open and his head tilted to the side. There was no unringing that bell. I had to take the money. That look on Ko's face twisted. His eyes pushed into a squint, his lips screwed up, and you saw his stare dart across your skin.
Oh my god.
The realization tumbled out of him in a whisper. He couldn't read his expression. But it remained firm. Till big sad tears started bubbling. Bro, what the fuck? Why are you crying? Dripping down his cheek, he flew a few steps forward, shocked, and his eyes widened with concern. It's okay. You blurted the words out, absolutely needing to reassure him despite not knowing what needed to be made okay. Ko's tense jaw slowly loosened as his mouth began to wobble into a frown. Emotions overtook him, and he failed to swallow down a broken sob. The tears pooling in his blue eyes intensified, and then they streamed quickly down his cheeks. I didn't mean to make him cry, what the fuck? Cove hung his head low and let them fall. I'm gonna do back pats. New sobs shook through him while he kept his head down. Dejected, you kept a hand on Kove's back until he had cried his feelings out. It wasn't right away, but Cove was eventually able to pull himself more together. He straightened his back and sniffled. He took a nervous step backwards to give him some space. Cove let out shaky breaths while he scrubbed the remaining tears from his face.
It's okay.
I'm not upset with you for what happened, or because you're telling me now, you didn't do anything. I actually felt bad for you. You had to keep a secret you didn't ask for, and it was for most of your life. A weight felt like it was lifted off your chest. Bro, that's what you're crying about? Oh my god. He's so fucking precious. The corner of Ko's mouth hooked into a bent smile, but his stare was still glossy with tears. I'm not mad at my dad either. And why are you crying? His tone grew delicate again. His emotions were catching back up with him. I'm just so happy with my life, about how it went. But so much of that happens with everything is out of control. Out of your control. There's stuff like that, like this. My dad secretly offering you money to be my friend. Remembering those days when I was little and pretty much my whole world was decided by other people. It just really made it all hit. Especially as I'm finding out there was even more going on than I realized. His bottom lip quivered and new tears ran down his cheeks. It's scary to think about. It would have been so easy for none of this to have even happened. Go threw his arms to his side, trying to convey where we were standing, where he had ended up after spending a life growing up together. What if my dad moved us to a different neighborhood? Or if I didn't move away with him at all? Or if my dad didn't care if I had friends or not?
I'm so glad.
But it didn't go differently, and you're here with me. We're together, and my parents are some of my best friends. Very best friends, and I'm just really glad. Your legs felt weak under you during his confession, but he remained rooted in place. Cove seemed to grow more confident. You're my friend. You're my friend too. My friend too. Cove rubbed the palm of his hand over his shirt, resting it on his collarbone. His awe-filled stare locked with yours. The shakiness in Cove's smile lessened, and it grew stronger and more assured. I'm gonna smile back. I don't want to hug him. The warmth and joy of just simply being there with him buzzed under your skin. Cove's head tilted to the side as he observed you fondly. You both waited there, enjoying each other's company. When another minute passed, you felt the calmness settle in your chest. Out in the open finally, that's a relief. Yeah, but hey, your secret-keeping skills are seriously unmatched. Chuckling, Cove ran a hand through his hair. He nodded in agreement, trying not to think too much about how many years he had been holding on to that. There was a playful gleam, and Cove's expression shifted into a smirk. He leaned forward, and you feel the warmth of his breath. Jesus Christ, I cannot read right now. Are there any other confessions you want to make while we're doing this? Nope. Good to know. Well, we gotta get back to business, right? We better get back to business, huh? We've got a full schedule ahead of us for your mom's big day. Sighing deeply, Cove shrugged. The look he gave you was warm and affectionate. and you knew that everything was going to be okay. Thanks again, you know, for letting me know what happened. No problem. I'm glad we got to talk about this. After that, you and Cove moved around each other, busily getting dressed and ready for the day. Light laughter and chatter filled the air the entire time. Bags were packed and phones were sought after. I'm gonna shake my head at this. Cove peeked at you at the corner of his eye. He combed through his hair slowly this time, untangling a snarl with his thumb. Yes? Wanna borrow my hairbrush? Oh. The brush was still out from you fixing up your own hair. You grabbed it and dangled it near Cove. His fingers were curled deep in his hair, working out another knot. He made no move to take your advice, so you shrugged and left him to his methods. Hell nah. Hell no. Why the fuck would anybody just like, I'm not gonna brush it with a comb or a brush, I'm just gonna use my hands, bruh. That's how you get knots and matted hair. You don't brush it. And combing your fingers through your hair does not count like brushing your hair. There's nothing else stopping either of you now. In minutes you were hopping into your ride and heading back to the neighborhood. It was another beautiful summer day in Sunset Bird. You couldn't resist rolling the window down so you could absorb it all during the drive. Cove sat across the seat from you, near the opposite window. His gaze was locked and outside, catching all the old landmarks the vehicle was passing. Your spirits rose even higher the moment you made it home once more. Eager, you hopped out of the car and let yourself inside. Your mom knew you were going to be there that morning. For the second you made it past the threshold, an excited scream nearly scared you out of your shoes.
Hi.
Oh my god, I forgot how pretty she is. I literally forgot how pretty she was. Holy shit. Lee, Jesus Christ, you scared me. While your heart rate settled, a broad grin quickly took over your whole face. Your cousin moved out on her own. You noticed that she really found her own groove. You're still the same loving person she'd always been on the inside, but expressed herself in new ways. She was strong, kind, and smart. Over the past few years, she graduated college with a degree in history. The last you heard, she was pursuing her dreams, working towards getting into the music industry. Lee! Excited, you shouted just as loud as she did. Lee hugged you tightly, nearly knocking you off of your feet. Dude, I used to have this cousin that I talked to all the time. And like, because we were so close in age, we were basically like glued to each other as kids, as little kids. And then after I moved to a different city before I entered middle school, like, we basically didn't spend any time together after that. I think I can't even remember the last time I saw her in person. When was it? Jesus, it's been so long, I can't remember the last time I saw her in person. Oh my god. That's insane. Like, I think the last time I talked to her was like, I was on Facebook still. And I think she's like got like 4 kids now or something, I don't remember. But yeah, we spent a lot of time together, so I really love this like cousin as their friend dynamic. Like, my cousin and I, we were so close in age and we basically looked the same. Or similar. People thought we were sisters. Lee leaned to the side to glance past you and meet Cove's eye. The grin on her face widened while she waved. Hi, Cove. Hey, nice to see you, Lee. I got in practically at dawn. It was a whole thing, but at least I made it here alive. Goddamn, look at her. Lee exhaled and slumped her shoulders to empathize how exhausting the ordeal was. Behind her, Liz made her way over. She crossed her arms at the scene. I'm here too, in case you were wondering. I wasn't, but thanks anyway. Lee giggled and Liz's eyes narrowed at your remark. She seemed to stand up straighter and the demure smile on her face didn't move. It wouldn't kill you to say hello, you know. You neither. I'm glad to see you too.
Thanks.
Thanks for feelings mutual. Another friendly shout rang out in the living room. It was as cheery as it ever was from the many times you had heard it over the years. Good morning, family. Your parents both came out from the side hall together. Morning.
Well,
Now that everyone is here, I do have a little something to mention. Ma put her hand lovingly over her wife's. Mom leaned her head into Ma's with matching affection. We're also having dinner together, but Pam here actually made plans to take us out to brunch to celebrate our anniversary, just the two of us. Please, she hooked an arm around Ma's waist. Sorry to push you out, but I'm sure this group of mature grown-ups will be able to entertain themselves for an afternoon. We don't need to find a babysitter or anything. Totally. Yeah, have fun, moms. Don't worry about it. We can survive that easy. Enjoy your brunch. That works out, actually. An afternoon open means time to meet up with Terry and Randy. Hopefully they're free today. Your two school friends still lived around the area. They knew you were coming for your mom's party, but when or how you might arrange to see each other wasn't set in stone.
Sounds good.
Definitely we should call them.
all right.
I have some people I'd like to say hi to as well. Liz had her cell phone in hand, ready to get her plans made before she was even done speaking. Arching an eyebrow, she then directed the next part at Lee. Do you want to come along? We've missed out on a lot of cousin bonding time in the past.
Yeah.
I'd love to. It would be an honor to hang out with you, Liz. I hope you both have fun. Don't worry, fun is my specialty. Chuckling, Liz smirked. Well, try not to have all the fun. Don't get into too much trouble. You shook your head and Liz winked. She then glanced back at her phone and rapidly typed a new text. Excellent, it's settled. She squeezed her wife's hand. Her gaze took in the whole room. Ecstatic to have the house full again. Today's going to be perfect.
Yes.
I think so too. I truly couldn't be happier with my wife, my children, and a whole beautiful family. It's already a wonderful anniversary. There were odd and sweet comments from the group gathered around the couple for the hour. Seeing how your moms were, you couldn't help but hope that when you got to be their age that you would be as proud of your life as them. After that, you enthusiastically began setting up plans to meet up with your friends. They were both able to come see you, having kept their schedules free for this, and you couldn't wait. Hope was also speedily sending text messages. Since you conveyed the plans to Terry and Randy, you imagined that he was letting his parents know what he was going to be up to. The group continued to chat and catch up until it was time for your mom's brunch and your big meet up with your friends. Soon enough, everyone was out the door looking forward to their fun-filled afternoons and the dinner later that night. Once outside on the neighborhood street looked at Cove. He stood at your side with a bent smile. Carrie and Randy were driving into town while you and Cove were traveling on foot to meet them at an easier-to-reach spot. Man, we really are kids in Sunset Bird again, having to rely on other people who actually have cars to really get anywhere. And we're stuck walking to whatever's nearby. We never drive anyway. Cove rolled his eyes, landing them on you amusedly. Fine, you're right, I do like walking. Let's go. You bounced forward several steps and shot Cove a playful look over your shoulder. With that, the two of you began your trip down the old road. It was a casual stroll into town. Before you knew it, you were at one of the large parking lots in Sunset Bird. It was completely empty. Cove pulled out his phone, texting Terry and Randy in a group chat to let them know you'd made it. Someone must have answered already because Cove gave you a status update while still staring at a screen. Randy texted, I can see you. Oh, the blare of a car horn cut you off. You and Cove both turned towards the source of the noise. One of the windows rolled down.
Hey, buddies.
Hey, buddies, aw. Your friends had arrived, making a spectacle of it, as expected. Being the only car meant that they got to pick up the lot, so they pulled to a stop in front of you. The window closed back up, and instead the two front doors popped open. Terry and Miranda stepped out onto the pavement. She's so cute. I love that outfit she's wearing. It's so nice with that hairstyle too. With a cheery wave, Miranda skipped towards you. Terry, on the other hand, walked speedily over to Cove, squeezing him into a hug. A quiet laugh escaped Cove, along with the majority of the air in his lungs. He didn't fight deconstruction, but instead gave Terry's back a pat with a large grin spreading across his face. When he let Cove go, Terry came right up to you. He held his fist up for you to bump it. I'm gonna hug him instead. Sidestepping his fist, you wrapped Terry into a big hug. He held you back tightly, rocking you back and forth excitedly. It feels so nice to have your friend group reunited as adults. Terry was currently a full-time lifeguard down at the busier beach a town over. You were proud of him. He'd helped a lot of people in his line of work. In recent years, you and Terry were able to form an even closer bond. It was reassuring to have a friend who knew what it was like to go through changing parts of their identity. Hell yeah. You could go to him for understanding, and you knew that Terry felt the same about you. Miranda took Cove's hand and one of yours in her other. Her eyes alight, she gave you both a gentle squeeze.
So great.
So happy to see you again. Hi, Terry. I'm Miranda. He answered assuredly. It was clear that he was equally glad to see them. This reunion was long awaited. For a while, Miranda had been working hard as an assistant at a school while continuing her own education. Oh my god, there's so much reading. I forgot how much reading this game is. I feel like I'm gonna pass out from reading, dude. She also kept busy running a small online shop selling crafted knickknacks she made. You look so cute. Oh, stop that. The pink in her cheeks deepened at your compliment. I mean it. You knew how full Miranda's plate had been for a while now, but despite the busy schedule, she really did take the time to put together a fantastic look. Miranda released her hands. Giggling, she eyed you both carefully. So how have you been?
It's nice.
It's been nice. I'm doing well.
That's cool.
Miranda put her hands behind her back sweetly, leaning forward just a smidge. Of course, everybody already knew you'd be a success. What about you? I'm super. Terry, what is that? How do you say that word? What is it? Sidled? How to pronounce... I got it right. Got it right. Yippee! Okay. Terry sidled up next to Miranda and put his arm around her shoulder. Sighing dreamily, Randy chuckled up at her boyfriend. Yeah, things have been unbelievable. He pressed his cheek against Miranda's, and she let out a light squeak. The sight put an amused grin on your face. Your friends made a wonderful couple. They knew each other well and cared about each other so much. It was no shock at all when you heard the news that they'd started dating. In your opinion, it was pretty cool that your friend group ended up leading the two of them into finding love together. Cove then pulled his phone out and peeked at the screen. He repeated the motion every so often. He raised a curious eyebrow at his unusual behavior. Cove was too focused on whatever he was doing to even notice you noticing him, which was even stranger.
So,
Is there anything either of you want to do while we're here? Any place you'd want to see? I'd be up for a lot of things, but actually there's something that I wanted to do right here. Oh yeah, what's that? Terry poked at Cove's arm playfully. Miranda met your eye, silently asking if you had any idea what Cove was talking about. You shrugged. I just want to see my friends. Okay. You're already doing that.
Well,
But I could be doing it even more. You, Terry, and Miranda all turned to Cove with identical, incredulous expressions. The stair moved to a point past you three, and you heard the scrape of sand and gravel underfoot. Someone else stopped in the parking lot. Startled, you jumped at the call of the warm voice shouting over. Oh, this is Derek, right?
Sup, guys and gals?
Jesus Christ, man. I forget that, like, he goes from, like, tiny baby to, like, grown man. This is crazy. This shit is bananas. Okay. What's up, guys and gals? Running a hand through his hair, the person who crossed the lot was unmistakably Derek Suarez. He was beaming the whole time. It's been too long, even though it hasn't actually been that long, but long enough. Oh man, hunk alert. I'm not saying that. I'm gonna wave at him. Stunned, the only thing he could think to do was wave hello. Amused, Derek bashfully scratched the back of his neck and waved with his other hand.
I missed you.
Stop. Okay, I know that, like, I need to do this Baxter route, but, like, when I do his route, it's gonna be so weird. Oh my god. He spoke to you gently. You were thrilled just being there, reunited with him. Derek was a good friend of yours, and he had been for a long time. Hey. He waved over at Terry and Miranda pleasantly. Over the years, they had all met several times in passing, simply through being friends with the same people. What's up, big man? Great you could come. Phil put himself next to Derek. Happy, he clapped a hand on his friend's shoulder. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
Thanks for inviting me. Sheepishly, Cove looked back at you and the others. That's when it clicked in your mind. It wasn't his parents that he was texting earlier. It was Derek the entire time. Derek was in town for a few months to help my dad and his dad with some work. Yep, I'm working on my own business thing too. I'm still involved with running the scuba shop when it's called for.
very nifty.
Okay. Humming, Derek elbowed Cove.
So?
But hey, we don't have to stand around here for my sake. What's the plan? Let's hit the town. Okay. Eager to get going, everyone piled into Terry's car. The rest of the afternoon was spent visiting spots all over Sunset Bird, laughing and reminiscing the whole time. Once it started to get late, Terry brought you and Cove back to the neighborhood. You didn't have to walk there at all, after all. You didn't get out until promises were made to see each other again before your trip ended. Side by side, you and Cove stood in the street and waved at the car as it drove away. Terry tapped the horn for 2 honks while Miranda stuck her hand out the window to wave back. You caught Derek in the back window, giving you both a wide grin. Sighing, as soon as the car turned down another street, they were finally out of sight. Well, that was one party. Time for another. Ready to go see your mom's? Always. Let's keep this celebration going. You shimmied a bit right there in the street for added emphasis. He looked at you amusedly and rolled his eyes.
Come on.
Come on, let's go. Spirits high, you and Cobb crossed the distance to your house. It was almost time for the anniversary dinner. You'd barely stepped over the threshold of the condo before Ma descended, eagerly welcoming you both. The usual greetings were followed by questions on everyone's well-being. Afterwards, the conversation moved to excited chatter about tonight's dinner plans. Cobb excused himself to the restroom to freshen up before being on the move again. This man is too good looking for his own good. This is like impossible to not date him. When he returned, you were shocked to see he had entirely changed outfits. Where did that come from? I'll pack it with me so I can get dressed before the dinner without having to go back to the hotel. Did it you? Or maybe you have stuff still here at your mom's place? Nope, I didn't do that. But your mom's party, it's at the country club. And that's also where Liz took golf lessons. Not everyone is in their Sunday best. It'd be different if we were going to one of the club's parties, but we're only going for a regular meal. That's embarrassing. Cobb was as befuddled by your explanation as you were with his actions. He threw his arms up, desperate for an understanding.
Seriously?
How can you not dress nicely for a country club? I don't think the Cypress is as special as you decided it is. You saw Ma, she wasn't in formal clothes. She's one of the guests of honor. That's embarrassing. How did I not notice? There's like sparkles in the background. Like dust or something? I didn't even notice until right now. Look at that. Okay, anyway. His friend wobbled and his cheeks became far pinker. He looked down at his own self regrettably as he pulled at the cuffed ends of his shirt. He seemed more like a scolded child than a grown man dressed for the latest charity gala. I thought she was gonna get changed while you and me were... It's okay, you look very nice. I'm gonna say that. That earned you a sheepish smile, though he was still clearly wished his look hadn't garnered any extra attention. Cobb's eyes stole a glance at the hall, as if he was calculating if he'd have time to get in oh my god, I cannot read. As if he was calculating if he'd have time for another quick change. Unfortunately for him, it was not meant to be. The time to head out came far quicker than you'd expected. I don't think his outfit is that bad. I really don't. Okay, back to shenanigans. Cliff and Kira swung by the condo to make sure everything was in order, and for your second surprise that night, Cliff was also in formal clothes. Ghostface excitedly whipped towards yours at the same time Cliff went to Kira's. The two men pointed at one another. See, he knows. That's your sport. Kira was talking to me about like I was crazy. The aforementioned Kira placed a hand delicately yet dramatically across her eyes. Clifford, your son only knows this because you're the one who raised him. Cliff chuckled, his arm moving to scratch at the back of his neck. That's my boy. I need to figure out why it's so quiet. Okay. The ends of Co's mouth gently bent up. He truly was his father's kid, in more ways than even he realized. They may be the only ones in the group, potentially the only guests of the entire club, I'll go see that, but at least they could now take solace in one another. It was good enough. That looked to be good enough for them. All of the Chihuahua family, as well as the honorary members, Cliff, Kira, and Cove, headed out at the same time to the Cypress. It was to be a perfect reunion. An impeccably smart host greeted you on arrival, smoothly leading the way to the set of tables reserved for your group. Once you'd all settled in, chosen drinks were poured into delicate glasses. The food would be coming out later, letting you soak up the atmosphere for a little longer. Smiling, your parents faced a group of familiar faces, all gathered here together to share this special day with them. Mom reached over and took Ma's hand, clasping it between both of hers.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here tonight, gang. Marrying this lady right here is the best thing I've ever done, and there's no one else I'd want to celebrate that with. Yes, we're so lucky. Not only do we have each other, but we've got such a large and loving family through all of you. Around you heard people saying, "Aww," and chuckling appreciatively at the comment. Leah had clasped her hands tightly in front of her eyes shining. Your eyes met Liz's misty ones, and the affection she had for her mom's carried over to you too. They're so cute. They're so cute. Look at them. They're so cute.
Thanks.
Oh, fuck. I skipped all of that. Hold on. My bad. I skipped all of this. I gotta read it. Blah, blah, blah. You return your attention towards the happy couple just as they leaned and kissed. Smiling all the while. Table responded with cheers. Happy anniversary. I skipped all of this by accident. Okay, Cove's head snapped up. Suddenly, he placed both hands flat on the table. He narrowed... Dad. He narrowed his eyes as he stared at his bed. I know what you did. Close eyes. Oh, yeah. You offered Brandon $20 to be my friend. When did that happen? First time you met. Oh, yeah. Okay. Apologize. Okay. I'm gonna look away. That's not my problem. Okay. Kira rubbed the bridge of her nose, her eyes closed, yet she didn't seem surprised in the least. You can only suppose she had enough direct experience of Cliff's antics to be inured to new revelations. I can't do the big words right now. Yeah, my brain is fried. I think I might just save. Right now. And just chill, because I only got like 8 minutes left. No, 7 minutes now. Holy smokes, dude. Doing the Baxter route was actually really difficult. Like, how the fuck? How the fuck are you supposed to do fucking anything? Turn down the music a little bit. Anyways, I think what I'll do is I'll try and get through the route again and see if I can figure out where I went wrong, because it feels like I've missed something. So I think that tomorrow we're going to do Minecraft, because I've been wanting to play Minecraft like a lot. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find somebody to read out to so that we can move on. I'm super eepy. I'm supposed to have a call in a bit. I gotta message somebody. Hold on. Okay, so I'm. What else is going on? So tomorrow we do Minecraft, and then next weekend I don't know what we're doing, but after next weekend my stream schedule is going to change because I got moved locations at my work, so I won't have weekends like strictly weekends off anymore. So when I know my alternating schedule, I will be sure to let everybody know on Blue Sky as well as Discord. But that's what's going on right now. I wish I could tell you everything that's going on in my fucking work life, but I can't. So, dude, I wish I could fucking quit. I'm starting to hate this job. It's like I just want to do my job and then like go home. I don't want to get bitched at for not doing what they think I should be doing. Who is live right now? Let me see if I can just raid out to somebody now. Let's see. Hmm. Oh, I see. Moon Bitch is still going strong with her what she calls her stimathon. Their stimathon or whatever. Hmm. Who else is up? Oh yeah, Sea Dog is still doing the cyclothon. Hmm. I might just like raid out to Moon Bitch. Because that seems like the better bet right now is to go and throw people at her or at them, or I don't even know what the pronouns are. Alright, I'm gonna raid out to Moon Bitch. They just talking right now. Talking about cream pies. So super silly, super goofy. I'm gonna raid out. I'll see you guys tomorrow for some Minecraft.